Good evening, everyone. Councilor Rodriguez, can you hear us? Councilor Rodriguez, can you hear us? Welcome to the Lawrence City Council meeting. Today is special City Council meeting. Today is Wednesday, May 17th, 2023. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2022, this meeting will be hybrid, allowing participation both in person in the City Council chambers and remotely. You may access this through our Zoom link. You may also access us, that's a hard word to say, through the Lawrence City Council Facebook page, Lawrence City Council YouTube page. At this moment, I'll ask the city clerk to please call the roll.
Councilor Levy, noted as absent. Councilor Dela Cruz?
Present.
Councilor Russell?
Present.
Councilor Rodriguez? Joining us remotely.
He's there, he's responding, but I can't hear, so it has to be something in the background, I think.
Councilor Del Rosario?
Present.
Councilor Selena Reyes? Noted as absent. Councilor Infante?
Present.
Council Vice President Reyes?
Present.
Council President LaPlante?
Present. Councilor Levy, can you just duck your head into there?
Can I call her?
Yes,
Pardon
we
me?
need to call her. Yeah,
Councilor Levy is present.
Councilor.
I'm sorry?
When I check the roll, she'll have
I will come back when she, as a courtesy, will make sure. Also, Councilor Selena Reyes will not be present this evening. We'll still have to go through the normal roll calls. Everything will have a roll call this evening. She's had some sort of a medical procedure that's made, and she's unable to be here this evening. I don't think it's anything too serious, but she's unable to be here tonight. And you're welcome. Why don't we do this? Let's start with the, Councilor Rodriguez is determined to be here, and I will also ask the clerk to call the roll for Councilor Levy.
Councilor Levy?
Present.
Good. Would you please rise for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance?
Good evening, honorable members. Humayun Mali, 53 Chester Street. In this important election year, we the citizen demand of you and honorable mayor to support for Lawrence Police Department and their union. Lawrence Police, with the impeccable leadership, deserve the best contract. We the citizen demand in this election year support of the police officers union, seniors officers union. Million thanks to our DPW workers for your hard work. We support DPW union and their leadership. We support our inspection department, our public school with the impeccable job by our teachers moving forward. Lawrence Teachers Union must know 83,000 citizens are behind you. Lawrence teachers, thank you for your hard work and sacrifices. Remember your campaign promise, Save Lawrence, Prosper Lawrence, only possible with support police officers and the union. We demand the best contract for Lawrence Police. Lawrence, one city under God, united and strong, champion of the respect for union right, from the firefighters to the teachers and DPW. Contract for Lawrence Police now. We demand from the mayor end the parking crisis by firing the David Rodriguez. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Malley. Your name, your comments are being submitted to the clerk, be part of the official record. What I would like to do is, we had a chance to go through the audience to see who's here for what purpose. I have that list in the order, so we're just going to go in the order of, in the numeric order of folks. There's 3 coming out of the ordinance committee right away. So the first one is, if there's no objection, we're going to take these out of order. Hearing no objection, we're going to go with document number 13923. That's a transient vendor license. Will the chair of the ordinance committee please give the committee report for 13923?
Thank you, Council President. Document 13923 is a transfer vendor license food truck Sabor Latino. It has been sent out with a favorite recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
So move.
Second.
The motion's been made. It's been properly seconded by Councilor, I think it was Councilor Levy. Discussion. Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll. Clerk?
Counselor Levy,
Yes.
Counselor Dela Cruz,
Yes.
Counselor Russell,
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez,
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario,
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes noted as absent, Counselor Infante,
Yes.
Council Vice President Estela Reyes,
Yes.
and Council President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. The license is granted. The next document is document number 14023. That is the a day with Blanco Riba in Lawrence on Manchester Street Park. Madam Chair of the Ordinance Committee.
Well, let me just continue, finish. It's gonna be on August 27. It has been sent out with favorable recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
So move.
Motion made and seconded by Councilor Maria Dela Cruz. Discussion. Seeing none, I'll call the question. No, I can't. Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Infante,
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes noted as absent, Counselor Del Rosario,
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez,
Yes.
Counselor Russell,
Yes.
Counselor Dela Cruz,
Yes.
Counselor Levy,
Yes.
Council Vice President Reyes,
Yes.
Council President LaPlante.
Yes, the license is adopted. Are you ready for the next one?
No, she's not.
Document 14023, Madam Chair of the Ordinance Committee.
That's exactly what I was trying to say. She have to leave. Document 14123 is a 51 annual in Manhattan, Lawrence Street in Amesbury Street on September 1st through September 3rd. It has been sent out with the favorable recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
Second.
Motion made, properly seconded by Councilor Dela Cruz. Discussion. Seeing none, clerk, will you please call the roll?
Counselor Levy,
Yes.
Counselor Dela Cruz,
Yes.
Counselor Russell,
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez,
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario,
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes noted as absent, Counselor Infante,
Yes.
Counselor Vice President Reyes,
Yes.
Council President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. We're going to switch off to Personnel Committee. There is an individual here for Personnel with the chair. Congratulations, Councilor Infante, on your chairmanship. Will the chair of the Personnel Committee please give the committee report for 12423?
12423 is the appointment of Antonio Reynoso to the Lawrence Planning Board, brought to us by Mayor Brian A. DePena. And Mr. Reynoso couldn't join us last meeting, so we sent this up as a committee report.
Is The motion for a committee report, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Counselor Dela Cruz. Discussion on the committee report. Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
On the committee report, it's Counselor Infante,
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes, noted as absent, Counselor Del Rosario,
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez,
Yes.
Counselor Russell,
Yes.
Counselor Maria De La Cruz,
Yes.
Counselor Levy,
Yes.
Counsel Vice President Reyes,
Yes.
Counsel President LaPlante,
Yes. And the motion to adopt the committee report is adopted, I'm sorry. Is there a motion?
Yes, I would like to, motion for approval.
Approve the candidacy for Mr. Reynoso, seconded by the state representative. Discussion.
Discussion.
Counselor Del Rosario.
Thank you through you, Mr. President. Just to welcome back, Mr. Reynoso. I know you were in the planning board for a certain time and you did a great job, so I'm glad to see you back and hopefully we can make this work for you. Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate the chance.
Council President?
Madam Chair.
Thank you, Council President. I do want to say, although Mr. Reynoso couldn't join us for the Personnel Committee, he did have a strong advocate for him. His colleague Brenda Rossi spoke very highly of you during your time on the Planning Committee. She spoke about your knowledge and how she has learned from you and how you're a great asset to the Planning Board. So that's the main reason why someone who has worked with you, why we sent it up to the full council as a report. So thank you for your service, and after this vote, we're looking forward to having you back.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor President. When the name was presented to me, I couldn't connect it. There was our Cookie who was coming back, and thank you for the service. I know that when you put your heart into it's something it have to be considered done. I know how you had been working in the past, and I have no doubt that you're gonna continue serving your city that you love as the way that you have done it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any other counselors?
We wanted
Dela
to thank
Cruz?
you, Mr. Reynoso, for serving. It is, sometimes it's tough to be there because you have to make decisions on R2 and R3 that, first you had to investigate and do all of that. But Brenda Ross, a friend from the community, she really spoke very highly about you. Thank you for serving.
Thank you. And thank you, Brenda. Yeah.
Anyone else? On behalf of the chair, I want to thank you so much. This is an unpaid position, and it says an awful lot that you are continuing, despite the lack of compensation. This is true public service. You're just doing it because you want to serve the community. You're not getting any money, zero, for doing this, and you've been doing this for some time. And I think that speaks volumes, especially when the chair decides that this is atypical for the chair to come in and say about a candidacy. So this is meaningful that she did. So with that, if there's no further discussion, I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll. Clerk?
Counselor Levy,
Yes. Yes.
Counselor Russell,
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez,
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario,
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes, noted as absent, Counselor Infante,
Yes.
Counsel Vice President Reyes,
Yes.
Counsel President LaPlante.
Yes. Motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Come back.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is Mr. Spanner here? Yes. Councilors, would you indulge me? I would like to have a 5-minute recess, just for some, an issue I could deal with. Is there a motion for a 5-minute recess?
So
A motion?
moved.
Motion made by Councilor Infante, seconded by Councilor Levy. Any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Levy,
Yes.
Counselor Dela Cruz,
Yes.
Counselor Russell,
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez, Councilor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes noted as absent. Councilor Infante.
Yes.
Councilor Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
And Council President LaPlante.
Yes, we're at 5-minute recess. Yes, we're out of recess. If there's no objection, we're going to go right to old business. Document 41122B. Okay, so I'm looking, there's, this shouldn't be this difficult, but this is challenging. We have agreed, counselors, that in this packet, and there's a hard copy that's in front of us. This is the old 41122. This is the underlying document. This looks like this. It's inside our packet.
It's on your desk.
It's right there on your desk. And the way that we were looking to deal with this is that we would go through these, and after each one, we would assign it a letter. We weren't sure what's going to come down first. We didn't want to give it a letter till it came down. So, for example, we already did one. I think it was the LRA had one. And it was $2 million, and that's off of memory, right? So we gave that a letter, and then we went. And now what we have in front of us, or what the administration is looking to provide for us, and I think this is good, I don't have any objections, but the challenge here is that in this sheet that looks like this, this spreadsheet, what they're doing is that they're going, the way it's organized, is that they're going through each department, city department, and finding out what is it that the department has the capacity to do, or what are they being assigned to do, and then they're giving us the picture of the departments. So the challenge that we're facing now is seeing this, and I'm not going to quibble about where the money's necessarily going, but it's hard to figure out where does this go into which item when we haven't given this one a letter yet, and that's where I'm finding a little bit of a challenge. But having said all that, maybe we could figure that out later. Maybe we'll assign a letter later, but we will go through each one of these and we'll figure out where the corresponding letter with the corresponding thing. So, with that, Mr. Spanner, welcome.
Good evening, councilors. I just wanted to clarify the reason we did send you a link because there were last-minute changes with the mayor. And the intent here is, as we said when we started working on this document, the expenditure, that we would work in conjunction with the city council to define the allocation of funds. Upon your request, you have asked that some of the funding, the free cash funding, would be expended as well through that each department could be considered. I remember the council president mentioning, what about ISD? There were some of you also mentioned personnel. So that's basically how we prepared, this document tonight. You can also follow it for those that are online. You have you also have the link on your phone. It could be accessible on the computer or also on the phone. We will start, Council President, how do you want to start? With each one of the
So I think we'll just go in order, public, neighborhood, and safety.
No, let's start with the combined spending first. Initially we gave you a document, but that has been reduced, if I'm not mistaken. The initial document, original document that you received was 8.4 million and change. And now you have a new total of 8.3 8,320,000, if I'm not mistaken, right? Correct. We have requested each department head or each department to submit to the mayor their wish list and reasons for funding. So each department, we believe most of them have submitted a request, and based on the wish list that they gave, we sat down with the mayor together with the department head, and also with our CAFO and team, with our controller, we went through each one of these items and sought what would be the best use and justification for each one of them. So starting with public safety, public and neighborhood safety, which you can find in the original document. In which it meets the funding category, which is neighborhood safety. I don't have my glasses. You want to continue? You can talk. I'll let Ilialis talk about the amount of funding and what they're used for.
So yes, hi council members. Thank you for having us here tonight. So the Neighborhood Safety Initiative is reflected on page, page 12. It's an important issue. We want to focus on the safety of the community. We're combining an initiative to engage residents and community partners, businesses, instituting community resilience plans. The plan is to execute multifaceted strengthening of Lawrence Police Department, achieving more effective and efficient crime control, lessen fear of crime, investing in crime prevention strategies. So it's basically the same that's on page 12. However, one second.
In this case, in this category, as you know, you've approved, I believe it's $200,000 the first time we came with this project. A total of $1 million was allocated to this category. 200,000 was made available for the interfaith group, Amodel, which the council approved. So the $207,000 will be subtracted from this amount. And then you also last year received a presentation from Mr. Ralph Carrero and Mr. Paul that basically made a presentation of the pilot project that we would introduce in 3 different districts. And that amount would be, for an amount of $700,000. And after we deduct the $700,000 and the $2,000, there would be $100,000 that would be remaining in this category.
Thank you.
Does anybody has a question? Any council members?
I got a question. Mr. Spanner. So if under the Neighborhood Safety Initiative, is this where this money is coming from, the public and neighborhood safety?
Yes.
Is that what, on page 12 of the document?
Yes.
Is the total dollar amount for everything, including what's here, $1 million?
No, it's $900,000, 900 and change. Because the interfaith group requested, I believe it was $205,000 or $207,000. So the remaining balance is maybe $90,000. So after your approval, the thing is, based on the calculation, it depends on if there's any questions, if there's any changes, then, you know, we can present to you, after the city council approves, we can submit to you another list of all the deductions, because the funding hasn't been used yet. So once it's approved, then we can submit it. Actually, this is what is remaining in each category, because we do have the nonprofit organizations that applied. So that would be, you know, we need to prepare that list then. So we don't want to duplicate the work.
So we can,
Councilor Dela Cruz?
Yes, I have a question. Out of this last paper that we received, then there is a lot of different organizations that will be receiving part of this amount of money?
Not of these funds. I mean, there would be one organization that the mayor decided that it would be best to have oversight, that the department would have oversight, or I think it would be two cases which I would explain later on. But the other group, the nonprofit organizations that are going to receive funds, we will present that during the meeting of June 6th for the approval. So you'll get the same thing. This is only department, only city department, not the nonprofit organizations. But on June, the next council meeting, on June 6th, we will be presenting to you all list of all the nonprofit organizations that applied, the reason why they were selected. Well, right now there was only one organization that the mayor, that was staff recommended not to fund, but the rest of them, they're on the list. And we will ask them as well to come and attend the meeting on June 6th.
and may I just add, we're also waiting for additional nonprofits to apply because the deadline is on Friday. So we'll be waiting for those and reviewing those as well.
Okay.
The next funding category.
So in parks, the next tab we have is Parks and Recreation, a total of 500,000. This is page 9 of the free cash ARPA. So the most vital projects or initiative right now are for the Hayden Schoolfield Playstead and the O'Neill Park. They're in dire need of bathroom. So we would focus that funding for those two projects.
Yeah, the amount of that for parks infrastructure would be $400,000.
And then below that, we have the tree removal for 100,000. And that'll be for the tree removals of the Spigot River from 10 sections.
Of the Spigot River. And this is one case where, you know, legally, we had to work in conjunction with procurement, office with Janelvi, because we do have a contract with an existing contract with a vendor. So we had to go through procurement laws to make sure, and that's the reason why these funds were separated, the $100,000 for the tree removal from the Spigot River. The reason why this project also was considered a priority because the Spigot River has for a long time, for decades, have not received attention. And as you all know, this is the Spigot River is full of debris, and part of not only debris but also the trees, you know, tree stumps, and that needs to be removed from the river. So this is only for tree removal, and it was placed under this category.
All right, this is a good one now, I think, because no one's touched this one has been untouched. So this is the first time we're touching this particular one. So the original funding amount for Parks and Recreation is $1.7 million.
Right.
And so what we're doing here is that you are assigning within probably DPW, $500,000 of which you just spoke out, tree removal, 100,000, Spigot River, and Hayden Schofield projects, $400,000. So the balance for the running total for this document, whichever letter it gets assigned, will be, once you're spending it, it'll be down to $1.2 million.
Correct.
Am I getting that now?
Correct.
I think the other one there, we've already dipped in it before, and so that's where some of the confusion reigns. But this one here is a lot more cut and dry. Okay. I see, thanks, Representative Calderon.
Thank you, Council President. Advisor Spanner, I know the city has been working a lot with Groundwork Lawrence in terms of like tree planting and tree removal. Does this project, are you guys working with them on this too, or is this something, or is this a project that is completely separate from that?
No, it's totally different. It's totally separate.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions? One, Councilor Dela Cruz?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. On the same page 9, it says youth development. Is part of this money going to the Boys Club and the YMCA?
If they applied, then they must be on the list. So I don't recall of all the organizations that applied, if they applied, if they are right now on the list. But, you know, next council meeting, we would have all the list of everybody that applied.
Yeah, but specifically about those two places because they are like the main youth program that we have in the community. And if they haven't applied, if they're not on the list, will you please call them and to let them know? Because I believe that they always in the need of money. And they always take kids during vacation time, after school and all of that. Then please make sure that they are on the
Yeah, we
list.
called them. Okay, will do.
Thank you. The YMCA and
And the Boys
Club.
and Girls Club.
Boys-
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, continue on. Yep.
Okay, for Health and Human Services, we have a total of $325,000, and that's broken down into outreach material, fairs, health education forums, and community events, as well as infrastructure needs for the center, and immigration services for $125,000. And this is for, on page 6.
Council President?
Madam Dela Cruz, yes?
Which one of these items emphasize in promoting the counseling and advising for our kids? Is this part of, if it is Health and Human Services, what section is dedicated to that? As you know,
I
we have
understand.
a lot of concern with,
With youth,
after the COVID,
right.
I think every family has somebody who needs counseling. And the wait list is so long that you cannot recommend anybody.
Yes, I understand the question, Councilor Dela Cruz. And this is, what we have done is we, as city departments, didn't want to take the responsibility away from nonprofit organization. So, and the city is not in the business of counseling, but the nonprofit organizations that do provide for counseling, they, some of them have applied for funding that are providing, I don't want to mention names because you haven't received the document yet, and I don't think it's appropriate to do it because the application is still open. But those are the organizations that basically have, are going to be in charge of that. Just like your question concerning after-school program, youth, programs for after-school and at-risk children, those would be in that category for in the next round, which would be June 6th.
Yeah, but my recommendation is that we take in consideration that the wait list is about 3 months or more than that for those institutions that are already here in the community. Then please find ways that we can get more institutions to come in and that they can provide the service to the community.
Yeah, mind you that this application has been open more than a month. The mayor did extend it for 2 additional weeks. That's the reason why the closing date, we have a new closing date of the 19th. But we will call, we did advertise, we did publicize the information, and it was well publicized with also information on the website and a link. And, but we would do if there's any special requests, we would definitely make the effort in calling the organizations.
Thank you.
The other thing too, I think Mr. Spanner, I mean, I hear one of my colleagues here expressing some legitimate concerns or interest and maybe organizations getting involved. There's nothing stopping us from reaching out to the Boys and Girls Club, right? And just encouraging them to apply. I mean, if a counselor feels like they want to advocate and encourage an organization, I mean, we certainly can ask you to do it, or we could do it ourselves. I mean, would that be appropriate?
Yes, it would be. You're part of the community. You're representing most of your constituents.
So that's it. So there's an opportunity, I think, Counselor, right there. If we want to really push what you want to see happen there, we can do that. Thank you. All right. Any other things on this one? Okay. Oh, sure.
Thank you for mentioning domestic violence. And I think we need more. A lot of concern for domestic violence. And sometimes they don't have all the money in place. Then if we had a family in well, the whole community would be on their stand. Then addressing domestic violence, pushing hard and to understand we need houses to be safe. A lot of us are not safe in their own houses. And that's one of the issues that sometimes they don't have the money to advocate, to be there for the family. Just think about it as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Del Rosario.
Thank you, Mr. President. With all due respect, colleagues and councilors, right now what we're trying to do is allocate or approve the money to go to the departments. And then the departments will pick, I'm assuming, will pick the institution they actually are going to do the work that is going to be there. Is that correct?
Sorry?
What we're trying to do right now is kind of approve this money to go to the departments. And then the departments are going to pick the institution they're actually going to do the work for the money. Is that correct?
No, it's not correct. It would be 2 instances, like we mentioned, and the next item, which would be environment, would be a special case. But the rest, the nonprofit is going to be part of a different pot. This is for the department needs. And then on June 6th is when we're going to deal with the nonprofit organization that applied.
Thank you for the clarifying.
And I think that the council makes a very good point, right? So HHS, in this particular instance, came to the administration and said, we could use $325,000 because we have the capacity to internally advocate and do this program, and that's what you looked at. Is that true?
Yes, we did it, and just to clarify, there were wish lists, probably more than the amount that is presented to you on the list. So a department asked for $1 million. I'm just hypothetically, or $500,000. We had staff making recommendation to the mayor. The mayor reviewed both the memo as well as the comments from staff and made his own recommendation that is presented before you right now. So there were cuts. So,
Yes, at this point, I think that our recommendations are very important because sometimes we don't get the feedback of this organization of what they're doing, but we want to advocate for them because we know the needs in the community. We are out there, and we understand, for example, domestic violence is something horrible, that what is happening in our city right now. And I could say the whole world around. But we have to care about our little city, and if we can provide more sources, then that's what we're here for.
Very good. And again, to repeat, Council, you bring up some excellent points. Obviously, feel free to advocate Feel free to put your agenda, feel free to get your voice heard with those groups. Have those groups, they're open. Is it still open for the
Yes,
nonprofits?
until Friday at 11 o'clock in the morning.
So there's a time frame. So get on the horn to the Boys and Girls Clubs and whatever other organizations, if they haven't, push them and say, listen, I want to help you. This is important to you and to me. I want to push this topic, domestic violence, for example. Push it and get those folks to make the application and then in time. And I think that's how we can help this. Each of us can help that process out. If there's nothing else, we're going to move on to the next one, which is what the environment.
So in the environment section, we have $400,000, and this is for the actual Spicket River cleanup. This one is under page, 1 second.
Environment is on page 11. As part of the sustainable development, it's in the bottom. Sustainable development and environment, that's for $400,000. But the total of funds available in this category is $5,650,000. And in this case, it's there's a nonprofit organization that is going to take care of the cleaning of the Spicket River. The organization in Rocky, Clean River Project, yes, Clean River Project would be, they did an assessment, they're cleaning the Spicket, part of the Spicket River, Merrimack River as well, and we are working together with them as the organization that would be in charge of it. Obviously, we are going to have oversight over this, over them of what they're cleaning. They work in close collaboration with the Department of Public Works.
That's,
Councilor De La Cruz?
yes, sorry that I have another question. My colleague, Ms. Infante was mentioning, if this organization are working with Grand Ward Lawrence, who every year they volunteer to do the work. If we don't bring the community to be part of, in 1 month, we're gonna have the trash again in there. But if we include the community, as Grand Ward Lawrence have been doing, then it's a participation, a collaboration of everybody. Then we need to encourage that again. That's why Grand Ward Lawrence cannot be working separated from these people. We have to bring them together and make sure that they do the work. Because perfect when Grand Ward Lawrence does it voluntarily. But what about these people who are going to get money and they're gonna clean and they're gonna leave because this is not their city? Then we're gonna have the trash one more time. I rather want to see my kids, my family, everybody participating, working in collaboration of everybody, and then making the changes that we need to make sure that the river is safe, is clean, is in better condition. Then please do that again. Let's ask Grand Ward Lawrence how they can be part of and work together as a team. Please.
Councilor Russell?
Thank you. Is the Clean River Group, is that Rocky Morrison's group?
Yes.
Okay. Environment? Moving on.
Next, we have technology. That's on page 16. And it was broken down into a few different sections here. We have for IT, 300,000. So I apologize. For technology, we have a total of 700,000. And that's broken up into different sections that I'll get into now.
Under page 16, we have a total of $600,000.
Yes, we're gonna get to that, where the remaining $100,000 is gonna be. Yes.
So 300,000 for IT. We have $200,000 for digitization of the clerk's office records. And we have.
The first one is IT, you mentioned IT?
Yes, IT,
Okay, good.
$300,000 for IT, the digitization initiative. And, like I said, $200,000 for digitization of the clerk's office records, phase 1 and 2. And, local access television studio for $125,000. And the last one is for ISD for $75,000, and that's for implementation of trash violation ticketing system.
Or do you want to ask the first one there? Video stuff, the video.
Yes, the video, local access channel for 125 would be subtracted from under economic development. Because that would be activities, any information that has to do within the community that would be part of the access channel.
You, Council President?
Council Del Rosario.
Thank you. With that 125,000, actually, we've been trying to get something out of LCAT for years to get an upgrade here, which is part of it. Are we going to be included in that, or are we just going to put it out there to the community to do programs and stuff? Because we've been trying for years to get money out of the LCAT to upgrade our system that, as you see, it needs a little upgrade, and it would be great to take us into consideration and not just, I mean, I agree to put it out there for the community and do activities and record it and televise it through the channels, but we need to do a little upgrade, and that's part of, that money will be great if it's taken in consideration. I mean, we're part of LCAT basically, so are we in it?
And the answer is yes.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to go with Councilor Infante, followed by Councilor Russell.
Thank you, through you,
Councilor
Council
Levy.
President. My colleague asked one of my questions, but if we can go back to the box of, for the IT department, please. At the bottom, it says, we currently have an old system. With a new one, we will be able to access and secure the IT facility and City Hall. Do we have limitations of access for some of our software or programs that may be difficult to, that has been showing challenges for us?
Yes, as a matter of fact, it's a little embarrassing to say, but we, for instance, sometimes when we have Zoom meeting, we don't have, there were moments that when we had Zoom meetings with the state and other meetings, it was not, we didn't have signal. I'm not a technology person, but we can have Carlos come before you, Mr. Carlos Castillo, to give you more of a detailed explanation of some of the deficiencies that we have. But yes, the answer is yes.
Thank you. And just to, as an FYI, the reason why that particular sentence popped because of the IT issue that the city of Lowell is currently going through. And I definitely don't want to see something like that happening in the city of Lawrence. So
Correct.
Definitely want you guys to have, the city to have functioning IT software platforms and everything to ensure the digital safety of our
Thank you for that, because that's exactly one of the reasons why we need to update it, because we have hackers that are very intelligent in knowing how to, penetrate the system. Infiltrate, sorry.
Councilor Russell, then Councilor Levy.
Thank you. So as I understand it, you mentioned local community access TV. I thought that the local community access TV had to be run by a nonprofit organization. How is, or am I mistaken, or have you guys figured a way around that?
No, the mayor is still we need to move forward because we already are not under contract with the local access channel, the organization. It went through the legal department, but in the meantime, we need to get ready. So any funds that will be dispersed would be paid back. So as a matter of fact, we need to include that as a loan to the so once the other, or whatever organization is going to be in charge of this would be subtracted from the amount that we're getting from both cable companies.
So the city, in a roundabout way, will be backing the beginning of a nonprofit organization to take over whatever local television broadcasting. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, basically the same thing that we've done before, based on the information that we received. I don't know if it's true or not, but this is not the first time.
Councilor Levy?
Thank you, Council President. Channel 125 is going to be the channel that we are going to have as a city?
No. The funding would be $125,000 for the purchase of equipment. Just to clarify, the 125, the equipment that was purchased by the former organization that was in charge of the access channel, they are the owners of their equipment.
They are the owner, but they use the money from...
That's something that I would suggest you to get an explanation from our legal department, but that's the information that was provided to the mayor.
So we're going to need to buy new equipment right now because we're not able to get back the money that's... I'm going to do a question that may be, what about the building they are located about
The
right
same applies to the building. A nonprofit organization, according to the information that was shared by Mr. City Attorney Tim Hooton, that both the building as well as the equipment belongs to the organization.
Wow.
But I would leave that for Mr. Tim Hooton to give his explanation to you.
Well,
As the
it's
city
not to
attorney.
me, it's...
I mean, to the city council when I mean.
Exactly, yes, and also to the community.
Yeah, exactly. When I say you, sorry, I didn't mean you specifically, but to the body.
Okay, so we're gonna use the 125 to buy the equipment, and you said that part of the money is also to renew all of this equipment also in here.
Correct.
So I think that we need to have something as a state of the art that can be much better than what we have right now.
Yes.
Thank you.
Vice President Reyes has not spoken yet. I will go for seconds, which will be Mr. Russell afterwards. Go ahead, Vice
So
President.
basically, that has nothing to do with the channel, with whatever you're discussing. It's more about the 3 items that you haven't gotten yet. It's about Department of Public Work, Cemetery, and Airport. And I see lawn. Are they gonna be taking loan out of this money? Is that how to?
Yes,
That's the-
because they're enterprise and they get other funds as well. We're basically giving them seed money, like for instance, the cemetery, they're receiving seed money because they're able to pay the city back, whatever they are able to use in funds. And as well as the airport, we haven't gotten there yet, but the airport would be also one. They needed more money, but the funds that, as soon as they receive funds from the federal government, it's like pre-development funding. So for design, and that's basically what he asked for, right? For design. Design for, I believe one second.
For the administrative office building.
That's what they're asking for.
Thank you. Thank you for the clarification.
Councilor Russell?
Okay, getting back on the community TVs. So the city will be loaning a nonprofit organization $125,000 as startup. Now, by definition, nonprofit means they're not making money. Where are they gonna get the $125,000 to pay the city back?
Well, nonprofit organization, they are not businesses, but they are able to get funding on their own. That is basically how nonprofit organizations work. They should be able to apply for grants, and they're getting, I think, a total of $600,000 from, a combined $600,000 from the cable companies. So those funds are to basically, they can pay it back. There's a good chunk of money for them to pay its staff and also provide an equipment. Yes, that's sufficient money for them to operate.
So a nonprofit business is gonna take money in the way of grants. So basically, aren't they taking money out of someone's pocket and giving it back to the city, who is ultimately taking money out of somebody's pockets along the way?
Point of clarification.
To what do you rise, Councilor Infante?
Thank you, Councilor President. Just quickly about nonprofits. So nonprofit organizations, generally, they do generate revenue or profit, so to say. However, because they're nonprofits, they're required by the law or by federal law to reinvest those profits back into their organizations. In this case, that would be paying back the city for whatever services that the city's loaning the money for. So technically, they're generating profits, but they are legally required to reinstate those profits back into their operations.
Another clarification.
Point of clarification.
We can't call it profits, it's revenue that they're.
Sorry, yes,
income.
revenue, yes, their income.
Okay, let's just, so there's no such animal as point of clarification in our rules. There's just no such animal. Councilor Russell had the floor. I'm going to relinquish the floor, if it's okay with Councilor Russell, to Mr. Del Rosario. Councilor Del Rosario, go right ahead.
Thank you. Also, if I'm not mistaken, whoever institution or organization that run the channel is gonna get revenue from the actually the cable companies. So they will be generating revenue through them. So I'm assuming that they can also make the payment to the revenue that comes to the cable company. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right, so my question, because I was waiting to see if someone would ask it, 125 for LCAT, well, not LCAT, sorry, for whatever the local access television station, it says a studio.
Yes.
So does that mean there's a building with a spot that there's gonna be cameras and chairs and
That's gonna be next
equipment?
on the document. It's gonna be next.
Am I rushing things again?
A
Although
little
it's
bit.
written right there?
Well, you're good.
It's written right there, I see it, it says right there, okay?
Yeah, but we have another item as well.
Okay, so I'll wait, okay, I can wait. Oh, we're done with the, with this part? Okay. Next. And by the way, whatever my system is here, my city-issued iPad, I cannot go past environment on my tabs. Really? FYI, yeah. So, continue.
Okay, we have publicity, and that's on page 14. And funding request, or total, is for $800,000. So for promotion, marketing, staff support for all departments, we have a total of $200,000. And general publicity, all other free cash funded activities for $150,000. And then reconditioning of 255 Essex Street, first floor, for $450,000.
That's the building next door, where the Adult Learning Center is. The first floor is not being used, and that is the property, the space that it would be refurbished or reconditioned.
That be for television stuff?
Yes.
And would that be, which part of the PEG is that? Is that that wouldn't be the education, would it be the government or the public? The P or the G, or both?
Both.
And so we could potentially, I want to use my imagination here with this money and this space, right? So if we wanted to have maybe a secondary meeting with a camera, we could have one here if we had the staff, which we would stretch, it would stretch kind of thin. But if we had the kind of staff, we could do simultaneous meetings at the same time under cameras. And we could also have shows or whatever, education, or whatever, government interviews or whatever we want to do on that space. So
Correct.
this is where I'm going with this.
Yes.
Okay. We're there. All right, I'll stop right there because there's places I don't want to necessarily go. Councilor Dela Cruz.
Is that, thank you, Council President. Is that similar to Channel 10? We used to have a Channel 10 that, from Lawrence Public Schools that used to provide information to the community the whole day. Is something similar to that?
The intent is for it to be broadcasting the whole day, 24/7. I mean, I don't think that all of them, and even live, but there would be also recorded programming that will be used as the for the station. Yes.
All right,
I'm not quite sure what happened before Channel 10, but I think this would operate in a similar
but
way.
if it is part of the city, will young people be included in the process, or
Definitely, that's the intent. Yes.
it's going to be like a extracurriculum program that young people will be able to become reporters, for example?
Yes, and also training would be made available for training as well. So that would be one of the requirements that we will have.
All right, so this is, done with publicity? Next. Personnel?
Yes, for personnel, you can see page 15. So we have for a total of $260,000. We have for human resources, best practices, upgrade employee handbook, update policy and procedures, employee training. And we also have employee wellness initiative for $10,000.
Yes, the additional $10,000 over would be taken from HHS because that component for employee wellness initiative, which we thought it's very important, would be the $10,000 we would be subtracted from the total funding of $2.5 million as well from HHS, from Health and Human Services.
So I've got a question, and I'm going to sound like one of my colleagues that may be out on that. Hopefully you have some patience with us with this question. So in our ordinance, I'm just seeing personnel matters and all these other kind of handbooks, which are really, really important and critical. Another thing that's critical, and it's probably not here, but I just want to talk to my colleagues about it as well and just remind them that there's a need. Mm-hmm. The need is with our big, I don't have it, Teresa has it in the back here, but our big ordinance book, and also the book, it's also digitized, it's online, you can go and you could research it. We have not done a comprehensive review of that. I realize we just issued the 2020 book, which is good, because we should be doing it every 10 years, but I don't even know the last time, never since my memory, and I've been since '98, we've never done the next step. Over the course of time, there have been mistakes, there have been conflicts, there have been language that have been in contrast with each other inside that book. It's a lawyer's nightmare because you'll have one provision saying one thing, you have one provision saying another in direct opposition, And there is a service that, I forget what it's called, that does this. Really, they really pour through the book, and it does cost some money to do. But in our city of laws that we create, we haven't had a chance to evaluate, are those laws properly placed in the right place, and do they contradict other laws? And how do we meet those contradictions? And it's more expensive, but I just want to throw my oar in the water. I don't know if it's on this line right here or if it's in a different place, but for all of our sanity and for our generations after us, we should get that fixed. Anyway, that's my editorial comment and request.
I would bring, we haven't, and we thought about it when we spoke today. I think you can make the recommendation to the mayor to add X amount of dollars to it. It depends, because we need to know more or less how much the expenses are. The same thing that we did with each department.
Very good, thank you. I'm sorry. So anyway, on personnel, on this, anybody, anything? Councilor Dela Cruz.
In this, page 15, it says that training and development, are those training being going through the Department of Unemployment, or those training are going to be just for the city of Lawrence?
It's just for city employees, including the city council, as well as boards, the different boards that we have, because there's always something new that's happening. And in order for us to keep ourselves up to date about the changes in laws and procedures, and, you know, probably a good example would be zoning matters. We need to make sure that our boards and committees are well informed, as well as our employees. It's on a day-to-day basis. So the training, we're not taking, we just want our staff and whoever is working on a volunteer basis within the city that's providing a service to have the opportunity to get acquainted with the different regulations and rules that applies to our community, or to the subject matter that they are dealing with.
Thank you.
If that's it for this one, we'll go to the next one, which is Fire Department.
Yes.
Yes, for fire department, we have $860,000. And that's broken up for, in $565,000 for the Quint fire truck, and an additional $55,000 for the related training that's, the Quint fire truck was awarded through a grant, and so the $55,000 would be the related award grant training. And then we have $240,000 for traffic lights.
What page? What page?
Okay, this is an item that we discussed, and we were trying to move around the amount of dollars that we can allocate, and we are planning to take this amount of money, a portion of it from economic development, and a portion under HHS.
I've got a question regarding that before I ask my question. I'm going to go to Councilor Infante. Councilor?
Thank you. Through you, Council President, Advisor Spanner, the $565,000, does this include, is this separate from the grant that, and maybe the chief can answer this, I don't know.
Yes.
But is it separate from the grant that we approved or discussed, that's for a new truck for the
It's part
south
of the grant, but I'll let the chief, I'll give the honors to the chief to give.
fire station?
Yes, hi, how are you?
Good,
This
thanks.
is part of the grant. The grant was for $831,818.18. The truck is $1.3 million, $1.393, and $250. Then I have to pay for training and equipment on that truck, and that's part of the grant. So the total amount came in to be $1,450,000. So the Octavian broke it down as to what we need to actually purchase the truck, which is $561, and then he's got $55,000 that'll cover our training and equipment that we need, so that it's not separate from the grant, it's part of the grant, it's our obligation to get that grant. That grant will buy a Quint truck, you're correct in what it's called, which is a ladder truck with a pump and water on it. It'll go to South Broadway. It'll be used in public safety for neighborhood improvements. It'll help improve our ISO rating through the city, and it'll also help keep our residents and firefighters safer.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Ma'am. Sorry.
Councilor Del Rosario, then Councilor Dela Cruz.
Thank you. I don't want to jump the gun, but it kind of, the slide kind of went down, and I saw 240,000, which is great, traffic light. But would that improve hours of work? I mean, every time we call fire alarm, or they are out, they not there, or it's not working hours. I mean, they have lovely working hours. I'm planning to apply to that job because I think it's Monday to Friday. But would that implement more hours, more help, so we can implement?
What it does is, fire alarm is staffed 24/7. They're always there. And they call in the fire alarm operators. There's always someone, not fire alarm operators, the fire electricians. There's always someone on call. So when somebody calls and says they're blinking, they call somebody out to check to see if we can reset it, put it back. This 240,000 is simply for equipment and supplies to fix the old decrepit stuff that we have. Lily here and Lily and Representative, there you are, sorry, I thought you were over there before. We have started a task force group working on a grant, and we are putting in for millions of dollars, and that'll be to improve the traffic lights in the city if we get it. This money is simply to keep the Band-Aids on the broken stuff that we have now. But to say that we're not there, they're not there. They're on call 24/7. There's always somebody on call, and we send somebody out every time. And in fact, now, as we get a phone call that there's something broken, we send an email to the police department so that the police crime analyst, I think is her title, she tracks it so we know which intersection has a problem, what time, day, or night it is, and what the problem is.
I mean, but what happened is that the time that I call, whoever answers, so I need to have that information. Say they're not there, they're already gone for the day, but I'll put out a call.
Put out the call, they're on call.
And it seems like my district is the one more hurting for lights, and I don't see that improvement in my district. But that's okay. I mean, if this is gonna be Band-Aids for that, it would be great.
It is Band-Aids, but those districts, especially the one you mentioned at the school, is on the list, and it was a priority list. But every single intersection to completely rebuild, the cheapest one to do what you want, to make it a full operating, is $1 million plus for one intersection.
Yeah, I understand that also. If something happened there and somebody get killed, it's more than $1 million.
Yeah, but I don't have the $1 million, I agree.
But that's okay. I mean, I
wanna
don't want
fix it too.
I don't want to get into that. I mean, it's
I
something.
want to fix them all.
Yeah, it's more expensive to lose a life than to try to find $1 million. But
don't
that's okay.
disagree.
We're not gonna. That's not.
Don't disagree with you.
That's not the issue right now. So hopefully we're gonna keep praying for nothing to happen in that corner.
I'm now switching to Councilor Dela Cruz.
I come back with my baby question, and I love them. Mr. Moriarty, you did an excellent job in District A when you got the opportunity to distribute a lot of fire alarm for 10 years. If you notice, we had less fires in District A than in other districts.
Because you guys are so safe. Because you're so safe.
Okay, but what I'm asking is there an opportunity to get more funds to do that? Because the education that you provided, the alarms that you gave to the people, the incentives to make sure that all the information that you provided all the time, I think it was very valuable. The education in place, the alarms given to the people, and the safety net that we have in the area. Then is there money that could be allocated again for that?
Thank you for the compliments. We have done a lot of work in that area. The detectors that we gave out through the city. The district got quite a few of them. They came from the Columbia Gas leftover. When that happened, we made them buy lots of detectors to go in every home, regardless of whether they had detectors in them. Those were left over, and we used them. I have asked for some money in my wish list to buy detectors so we could do just that. I'm not aware of getting any of that money. But we do have SAFE, Senior Safe grant money. Plus, I come out to all the neighborhood meetings. We'll get a fire prevention people come out. We'll always be willing to do the training. We'll figure out some way to get the training and education. But I have to have a line item to buy those detectors, and at the present time, I don't think that made the wish list. But there's always hope.
Wishing.
Yes.
Council President? I have a question.
Buddy?
Thank you, Council President. As going through what Maria was saying regarding also the fire station that we have on District A. So I just heard that they are in need of some fund just to fix something on the building.
Yeah.
That's no work have been done for.
That station's undergone quite a few renovations. That email I was CC'd on was kind of a, whatever, I didn't think it was appropriate that it went, I was on an email chain instead of come to me first. I had already submitted for paving of the driveway. The house has had a new roof, new fascia put on, worked with Glengarry. We've done quite a bit of work to that station over the past few years. But they are looking to have an open house because it's an anniversary of its years, and they would like, things that were in that letter were never brought up to me that they would like new ones. So we will do everything we can to fix the stations, but that station is not the worst station that we have.
No, I know, I understand, but that is what I'm.
When they,
This to you,
I
I
have
think-
been, if you talk to the vast majority of these members, everything that has been broken in the station, I have forwarded to Glengarry. We fixed so much. We've remodeled stations, so we've done a lot. Some of those items were never brought to my attention. Not that they're broken, they just want new ones. But we'll work on getting them fixed.
So
or
do you
getting
think
it
that's
upgraded.
for the anniversary is gonna be done?
No, I'm not gonna promise anything. I don't have any money for that. And I had asked the last city engineer, we were working when they were doing the paving in that area, he was gonna have that driveway, that ramp paved over, so it would be nice. But you wouldn't be ashamed to go into that station today, even if they do want a new bathroom. It's a very nice station, very historic, beautiful woodwork, very much like City Hall.
I know, it's behind my house.
Right, it's not, it's nothing to be embarrassed about. Sure, our bathrooms are old. Yep, we could use an upgrade of a few of them. I'm not gonna deny that, but I try to make sure everything for health and safety is done first, and those bathrooms function.
Okay, thank you.
Is that it for fire department? Next, the one thing that I guess that caught my attention is that there's no specific fire department page, right?
No, we have not included a fire department page as the councilor requested for us to look at the different wish lists. Let's say the department needs, the mayor concurred, and that's why we brought it up as part of the expense. Where we're thinking to take some of these funds is from a portion from HHS and also economic development. But if we can, and this is a request, is that we, on June 6th, if we can present to you the list where we are at the moment, where the funding in terms of the different departments. If we can provide you with a new list of allocation where funds have been taken from. And this would be one case because there's a good chunk of money, but it's a priority for the city because we already received the grants.
Right, so, I mean,
There's a portion of
every
50
council's gonna be different on this. I'm just looking at this grant list again. We went through the 60 million that's in part of this package. We broke it down to 26 or 27 sub-documents. It seems like this is a late item. This has been an additional something or other. So now it looks like you're gonna have to pull money from other places to create this thing called fire department, which includes lights and includes and then the matching funds for the Quint and maybe something else, I don't remember. right?
Yeah, but my question would be for the sake of the need of the city, and this is free cash. I would request on behalf of the mayor the flexibility to do it based on your own request, based on the department wishes, and then we can allocate the funds within the different category. I mean, or we can subtract some funds from different categories and create another one if it's so needed.
See, the key here, I think, is just to have some order, right? So a member of the public could go in and say, okay, I see I see $1.8 million for something, and then I see where that money's being spent. Some of it's going to be within the department, a department, some of it's going to be from a nonprofit that we've been talking about, and we know where it is, where it's, what I'm trying to do is make it easy to understand. And we broke it down in such a way, thank goodness we did, because now we're able to go into some depth. If we voted and then that was it, that one time for 16 million, there's no way we could absorb the breadth of what we're talking about here. And so this gives us, all of us, gives, I think, the administration and the council the opportunity to pour in a little more detail, look at it a little more precisely, instead of 16 million, which is a very, very, very big number, and now we're able to deal with it. But my point here is that it looks like we're creating another, and from one council, from my perspective, I'm okay with creating a 27th item and make it the fire department. You bring the other monies, we've already created this, it's a Mark Ianello question. They've set aside these special accounts for each one of these. I don't have the wherewithal to advise Mr. Ianello how to create a new one, but whatever it takes, you may want to just pull this one out with the consideration of a fire department one. And then you could say, I'm moving this money from these accounts to create number 27, fire department. Maybe that's the way we do it.
Okay, can we continue until the end and finish it? Because there might be two others that would require the same.
Sure. All right, go ahead.
Okay, we have planning and community development. 1 second while I locate the page, I apologize. Oh, I do have it here. Pardon. Page 6 and page 10. So it's a total of $650,000, and it's broken up in the following ways. Advertisement, public notice for boards and commissions, $5,000. Planning, consulting, or professional services for $25,000. Community development consulting, professional services, $50,000. Economic development consulting, professional services for $50,000. And here we have a section of economic development for $100,000 for small businesses. Moving on to homelessness, this is part of the Energy Solution Grant COVID rental assistance for $100,000. And displaced individuals and families in partnership with Heal Lawrence for $150,000.
To my colleagues first, any questions here? How do you define displaced individuals?
Well, it's a mixture of a myriad of things. It could be fire victim, it could be, like Councilor Maria de la Cruz mentioned, it could be someone who is in a domestic violence situation and they have nowhere to go or they run away from their home. It could be teenagers, students, couch surfing. It could be numerous different situations. It depends on the circumstance.
I'm presuming these are Lawrence. If somebody had a fire in Methuen, for example, and was displaced, I mean.
They're Lawrence residents. They would have to show their Lawrence identification, proving that they're a resident of Lawrence.
Yes, the funding here, the $150,000, was part of the, Heal Lawrence applied for funding because we want to shift away from like the experiences in the past that the city needs to be relocating, families. So basically the role of the city in this case would be to have oversight, because He Lawrence does not have the resources to pay someone to administer the funds. So He Lawrence would be basically forming part of this help, because that's how it is right now. But we will also be working with our other community partners, which would be the Red Cross, the local businesses as well. But these funds would be allocated specifically for He Lawrence to attend with the victims.
So I just want, and I'm going to, my colleague wishes to speak, and I will recognize him in 1 second here, but my point is for the displaced individuals, is this homelessness individuals? I mean, however we decide to define that?
No,
or is this
it's
just
a
people?
different category. This is not for people that are homeless in the street. This is not the case. This is when there's a fire, when there's family that are dislocated, let's say during winter, a pipe burst and they need somewhere to go, and we can call upon He Lawrence to take care of these families.
And take care means put them up at a hotel?
Put them up in a hotel, yes.
Councilor Del Rosario.
Through you, Council President, my mind came double dipping, okay, so, and I'll explain why. Now we allocating, according to what it is, money for He Lawrence. Can He Lawrence also apply as one of the institutions to get more funds on what we're doing, that the deadline is on Friday?
Yes, yes, and they have applied. The reason why we put it under this category is because we had experiences before with other organizations, and that's double dipping. I agree with you, that one organization receives the funding, and then they will charge He Lawrence for the administrative work. We're not charging, the city is not charging He Lawrence for the oversight of the program. Thank you.
Anyone else on this item?
That was very kind of you.
Very good. Councilor Infante?
Thank you. Just a quick comment. I understand my colleague's question and concern about the double dipping. I have to say, though, given the experience I had with a big district fire last year and working closely with He Lawrence, I saw the work firsthand. I was in contact with them every day, and there was a point where we were all stressed out because the funding wasn't there, and we had over 70 individuals displaced. And hopefully, we'll keep track, and it sounds like you guys have a plan for the oversight, so I'm hoping that not just my district, but the city of Lawrence entirely can, will benefit this, and I hope that you guys stick to the plan that you have.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Reyes, next one.
Next category, Public Works.
Department of Public Works, we have the Clean Lawrence project for $500,000, and the Water and Sewer Department for $300,000. So it's a total of $800,000. However, for the Water and Sewer Department, since it's another enterprise, consider under enterprise, it'll be dispersed as a loan for $300,000. So in total, it's $800,000.
This category would need to be created and separated.
So yeah, so this might fall under one of the categories that need to be created as well, as you were mentioning earlier, Council President.
When Representative Reyes talked about loans earlier, so when the loan gets paid back, where does that money go?
It's taken from free cash, general fund?
So it goes back to the general fund to free cash?
Yes.
Okay. Then we can, obviously, it's back to back in play, the city's needs are.
Correct.
All right, so we're gonna skip the other question regarding the little asterisk ones, and, okay, anybody else? We'll move on. What's the next one? Cemetery?
Police Department.
I'm sorry.
It's right before, or right after cemetery. No, before, before.
After,
Before. So DPW and then Police Department.
We're still DPW? All right.
no, Police Department.
On the form they have, it says.
Oh, okay. So on the tabs on the bottom
Oh.
here, we're moving on to Police Department. So we have 300,000 for accessories, apparatus, and training.
No.
We're here.
All right. Oh, I'm sorry, Counselor Infante. Police Department.
Thank you. I just, quick comment, I wish the police department was here, because I brought up a concern regarding training and newer police officers that I saw. And I wish, just like the chief was here, I wish they were here so I can ask what type of training specifically and what this money is going to be used. But thank you for including this.
If you so wish, we can have this, whatever items that you decide to set aside, and then have them come back and give you the response.
That's fine. Counselors have got questions. Is this one of those asterisks one as well, Police Department?
Yes.
Okay. We'll move on to the next one, which is?
Cemetery. Cemetery.
Ms. Reyes, you've got the floor.
$1 million for the cemetery. This will be also dispersed as a loan,
Receiving tomb and chapel, that's what it's for.
and it's for the receiving tomb and chapel.
The $1 million is for the chapel repair, which I've heard is remarkable and needs help. I heard some really needs for that. And the good thing is that through the retainments and all the other things, it'll be paid back. But this one, unlike the other ones, is not going, will this be going to the general fund or to the cemetery's trust fund?
No, we're not going to the cemetery. That's the reason why it's a loan, because they're able to.
That's right.
Yeah, because we're gonna continue to have funerals, and they would generate their funds like they usually do. This is just like an advance for, like,
Okay. Questions on cemetery?
No, thank you for the clarification.
right.
Okay, next.
Next, we have mayor special projects for 200,000. This would include, pardon? No, there's not a page for that one.
Right.
So they might go under the same. Okay, so for youth development, Flavor Fusion Festival, business and community networking and cultural events geared at diversity and inclusion. So for a total of 200,000.
Going to questions on this one? Oh, more detail, business community networking and cultural events geared at diversity inclusion. Can you go into more detail to what that might mean?
Yes, as you know that last year we had the business networking in which the mayor unveiled the Lawrence Economic Prosperity Plan. Such events are very important to connect with the business community, to know it's not only the residents, but also our businesses and those that are in retail, industrial, you name it. Then every so often, they are the ones that are not informed, and we don't listen we don't hear from them because they're in the city, they leave, and it has been a I believe, a practice that we ignore the business community and we only focus on residents and nonprofit organization. And forgetting that this important community, they are one of our biggest taxpayers. In regards to cultural events geared at diversity and inclusion, as you know better than we do, we have a diversity of people. Not only Caucasian, Hispanics, meaning Dominicans, Central Americans, and Puerto Ricans, but we do have other cultures that are growing within the community. We have Africans, we have Asians. It is a huge diversity that we're experiencing in the last couple of years. And we need to do some outreach and making sure that, you know, they feel themselves part of the community. And we have received it, we see it at the senior, or at the center, how many people we have. That's only the elderly, but we have other people as well that live here and for many years and have not been felt welcome and to a certain extent ignored and overpowered based on the different ethnicity that we have and those that are predominant in the community.
Council President.
Councilor Del Rosario.
Thank you. On that item line, it says business and community networking, the cultural events, but in that line, can we somehow get a task force to prevent business to leave out of the city? And District F, East E, that South Lawrence, we lost CVS, which was a great business in that area, and they left, and I think we don't have a task force to reach out to these people to see why are they leaving. And there's a lot of businesses actually in that area in South, very important businesses, and nobody's reaching out. Can we add something, some type of task force, not just to create business, also to keep business in the city?
Yeah, business retention. Yeah.
I think Councilor Rodriguez wishes to speak. I am going to see Councilor Rodriguez.
Yes. Can we fix the issue? Because I don't want to be calling you for me to be able to speak. You should be able to hear me. Oh, have John review the situation there, because I'm not going to be calling you when I need to speak.
So a couple of things. Visual that I can see. And I do believe that, like, we'll call, if we have to, we'll go into a 2 or 3 minute recess, straighten something out. It's a matter, let's do that so that we can get some clarification, because what I don't, Councilor Rodriguez is understandably upset and frustrated. And there was, apparently 5 minutes ago, he wanted to speak on something, and he wasn't able to. I wasn't able to see anything. There's no clues. There's nothing here that allows. And until, from my understanding, unless John turns the volume up for him, that's the only way we could hear it. And right now, I'm at a disadvantage because I'm not knowing that he wants to speak. So if it's okay with my colleagues, if we just give us a 2 minute, let's motion to recess for 2 minutes. Let me talk to John and see what we can do about this. Is there a motion to recess for 2 so I can figure this out?
So move.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Dela Cruz, I think, and seconded by Councilor Levy. Roll call vote, please.
Councilor Levy. Yes. Councilor Dela Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Russell.
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes is noted as absent. Councilor Infante.
Yes.
Council Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Council President LaPlante.
Yes, 2 minute recess. On that minute, have you got minutes? We are about to come back, yeah. Council, do you want to, once we come out of, when we come out, did you want to make a comment on any one of these?
Council President, can you hear me through the computer?
I can hear you.
In the chambers?
Everybody can hear
I won't be able to speak on the chambers until you give me the opportunity to speak. If you put the volume up on the computer, we be able to communicate, and you give me the opportunity to speak.
So what we're going to do, we just try to hear it. We just had feedback. This meeting's going to go sideways really fast with feedback. It's not going to be good. Though I just tried it. So, and you did have the opportunity, and I will vote for you on each one. As a matter of fact, here's what I'm going to do. Council, if I don't do this, please nod me. It's not going to try to not do this. Before we move on to the next question. Can I interrupt for a second? Yeah, are we back on or not? I'm not yet. Not yet. So just be understanding that we're still on. We're on right now? Yeah. Yeah, but is this broadcast right now? Just fine. In order to test the sound, we have to put it live. So just yeah, you want to test it right now? Because I don't mind. I just want to make sure you be mindful. Okay. So we're not going to say anything until right away. So can we just come out of recess and then you can talk about it? Sure, let's do that.
You want a roll call vote?
I am now looking for a motion to come out of recess.
So moved.
Motion made by Councilor Levy, seconded by Councilor Russell. Roll call vote.
Counselor Infante.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes is noted as absent. Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Counselor Russell.
Yes.
Counselor Dela Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
Council Vice President Estela Reyes.
Yes.
Council President LaPlante.
Yes, we're out of recess. Councilors, I had a conversation with Councilor Rodriguez, who is with us virtually this evening. His camera does not work, so I'm not able to get any kind of visual cues from him, which is leaving all of us at a bit of a disadvantage, and quite frankly, as cause some frustration. We don't want to, if a colleague is with us, we do want to allow every colleague an opportunity to speak on whatever the matter is before us, and that is true here this evening. I've asked, we did a couple of different things, so hopefully the feedback is not too severe. Councilor Rodriguez has asked that we turn up the volume a little bit, which we tried to do. I might try it again, but there was feedback. But he will try to do a couple of things. One is to give me a visual cue on my screen so I can see him, and when I do, I will acknowledge him. And the second thing, I think what I will do is before we move on to the next subject matter, I will ask him specifically, Councilor Rodriguez, is there anything you want to add? That'll be a marker of some sort. At least we will have some sort of system in place where he feels like he's being recognized and has the opportunity to speak. So, Councilor Rodriguez, I hope that works with you. I don't know where we have left off. I'm going to be quiet right now. Councilor, well, let's do this. Are there any questions right now, Councilor, that you have? Which ones do we have before us right now, Ms. Reyes?
We just finished, or we're towards the end, towards mayor special projects.
Mayor special projects.
The next one, the next one and the last one is airport.
Okay. As a courtesy to my colleague who didn't have a chance to speak and he had some other questions, Councilor Rodriguez, I'm going to turn the mic over to you so you can have an opportunity to speak. John, please put the microphone on to Councilor Rodriguez so he can speak.
Council President, through you, can you hear me?
Yes.
I have a quick question on the Department of Public Works, the $800,000 and the $300,000 loan for the water department.
Yes, Councilor? Good evening.
Good evening. I just want to make sure that we actually touch base on what this money, the ARPA fund, is all about. When we actually, before we actually remove the restrictions justifying previous losses on previous years, for us to be able to have these funds as a free cash, we were having some federal government restrictions as of how to spend this money. And the intention when we took the vote, it was believing or trusting the system that we were going to do things that were required by the federal government and other things as well. And when I see that the $300,000 going to the water and sewer, that make me question, as a loan, that make me question the intent of the money of the ARPA funds originally. Some of the department that we were going to be able to spend most of the funds, it was through the water and sewer department and economic development. So those were the two main focus. But now I'm seeing that at least the water and sewer department is one of the least focused departments to spend these funds. We're actually providing them $300,000 as a loan. So I just want to make sure that we don't lose track as of what this money is all about, the $57 million. And make sure that even though this is a free cash, that we can do different special projects, the intention of us declaring these funds as a free cash, it was not to forget what was the original idea and the original purpose of the funds. And by providing the water and sewer department $300,000 loan, it's like this was one of the departments that actually were going to benefit the most if we just follow the original purpose of the ARPA funds. So I want to make sure that at least we keep, talking about the original purpose of the expenditure for these funds, and not to forget about that important part. Even though we don't have to obey and follow those guidance anymore, it will be important, especially on the water and sewer department, but more importantly, on the economic development portion, because we're not going to be able to have $57 million ever for coming from the federal government. I mean, that's something that I have never seen it. I don't see that it's going to happen again. And we need to take advantage, investing on the economic development portion, because that's going to bring more revenue, and not to forget about the water and sewer department, which basically we're gonna need a lot of funds too, otherwise we're gonna have to keep on increasing the water bill. So I just wanna make sure that we talk about that. We mention that, and not to forget about the original purpose of the ARPA funds. And also follow those guidance, even though we're not required to obey by those.
Councilor Rodriguez, you have any specific recommendation?
Do you want me to give you a list of of recommendations? I don't think you want that.
I mean, we're in discussions, and I think it's very important because last time, this is a collaborative effort between the mayor and the city council. And, you know, it's for the better of the community. So whatever recommendation or suggestion, I think now is the time to yeah, it could be emailed to us, yeah, myself and Elialis. We would definitely take those into consideration.
Octavian, I'm not saying that what you're doing with the funds is wrong. I'm saying let's not forget about the original purpose of the funds before it becomes free cash. And if I remember correctly, out of that $57 million, about $18 million were going to be invested on the water and sewer department. And now I'm seeing $300,000 as a loan. And that's basically what I'm saying is, like, those funds can also be invested on the water and sewer department, not necessarily treating them like, you know, we provide you a loan and that's it. You know what I mean? So that's basically something that it is important as well. And that's basically what I'm saying. Let's not to forget what we were supposed to obey by originally, and maintain those requirements on some aspects. Also, investing on important things like we have. And when I saw that $300,000 loan for the water and sewer, that drove me off, because part of the original plan from the ARPA fund, it was to invest on that department, mostly because it is so difficult to actually invest on something that you don't see. And the water and sewer department, water and sewer utilities, you don't see those until you have an emergency.
Then, Councilor, we will bring that item back to the mayor for two reasons. One, whether to make a recommendation to increase as to what I'm listening right now, and the other one is this regarded as a loan? Am I hearing you correctly?
Yeah, I think that we should pay attention to that specific, for the original purpose of the ARPA fund. Also, keeping on combination of what we wanted to do. Because the original, when we compare this as a free cash, it was not to forget the main purpose of the funds, especially on my end, especially on the water and sewer department and economic development. Those are my two biggest things for investment. Obviously, all the things that you guys are doing, they're not wrong. Don't get me wrong, they're not bad. But for the next set of expenditures, I want to see a little more. I want to see the city a little bit more aggressive on the economic development portion, and not to forget about the water and sewer, because the water and sewer, it's extremely important. Even though we don't see those utilities that they're going bad, because we don't see those. We don't see it. It's a natural of the department.
Okay, so I think that Mr. Spanner and Ms. Reyes have taken the notes regarding your comments on water and sewer and economic development piece and looking to see if they can strengthen or revitalize or make stronger those two elements. Counselor, is there anything else besides that? We went through a lot of other things before we move on. Counselor Rodriguez, is there anything else?
None on my end.
Thank you. Okay. So we'll continue on to the next one. So what's the next item?
Well, we already discussed it, which is the airport. And the airport, I think Councilor Reyes asked the question, and the intent of the $200,000 that is the funding request is for design purposes for the new administrative building that they're proposing. The design.
Any other counselors on the airport? Counselor Rodriguez, airport?
I'll let you know when I have a question.
Very good. I will look for a signal. Thank you. Next one, is there another one? Mr. That's it.
No, that's
All right, so let's go back. So there are some elements of this list that are not cataloged in this overview document. And so now the question is how do we capture from the special accounts that have been set up through our previous vote for the 26th? How do we set those things up? And I'm trying to think of the best way to do this. Can we extract those items from here, vote tonight on the ones that are clear cut, deal with those, and then come down with another round, if you will, where you have, let's say, a fire department one or I forget which one.
Police department, fire department, airport, cemetery.
There you go. All right, whatever that is,
Those are
right?
the ones, right?
And that way, it's easy for us. I mean, this is complicated stuff, right? I mean, we're getting a lot of stuff being thrown at us, a lot of numbers, a lot of stuff, and we're trying to accelerate these things quickly so you can get from here out to the street. So out of fairness to us, if you could just extract and have a vote on that. So if you look at this list, help work with me through which one of these items on this list are ones that are the low-hanging fruit that doesn't need a special account.
Fire department would be first. Yeah, fire department, police department, public works, airport, and cemetery.
Police department. Fire department. Airport. Cemetery. Public works.
No, parks is within the.
So out of all this, now it's a math question.
Mayor special projects.
And the mayor special project.
Everything else, for example, parks and neighborhood safety would be in this. Technology would be in this. City attorney would be in this.
No.
So city attorney. I see on this sheet a city attorney section.
Yeah, we put a city attorney section, yes. We couldn't respond for it because I think one of your requests of the changes in the ordinances that haven't been published or in the book, it could be under city attorney, yeah.
Financial self-sufficiency, that's in the book, that's in the.
That's in HHS, if you see on page 6.
So that's in here? Okay.
Yes.
Good. Okay. So now we got to do some math, right? We have to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 of these elements, add them up, and then subtract it from 8.32 million. Is that right? Vote this evening. We're going to be voting this evening on everything but those 7. Fire, DPW, cemetery, police, mayor special project, airport, and city attorney.
I
No.
can make it, oh, sorry, go ahead.
You want to make a recommendation?
Yeah, if you said you wanted to do the math right now for that total without those 7 components, I can just quickly put a 0 in each one so you guys don't have to. Okay.
Can I make a recommendation as well? Probably you can, or the body can vote on those other remaining items and just include them, including as because there's already an explanation to the city council. The only thing we need is your vote.
Well, we're going, yeah, I mean, I think I understand what you're saying. So what we're just trying to do here in simplicity is that there are -7, everything else we're gonna have one vote on this evening, which, and if you want to zero those things out, that works. One of the dynamics of our original vote back a couple of months ago in this thing was that we created these 26. Are we going to expect to get another document like this that has all the nonprofits, for example? How are you rolling it
No,
out?
the nonprofit organization will be in the next city council meeting. That's separate. This is just city departments.
I understand that. Clerk, what's your question?
Where we're gonna have to take roll call votes on every item, and you are potentially creating at least 8 votes, plus maybe a 9th to create accounts. I'll make a suggestion. The suggestion would be that you take 2 votes. One is to approve the funding as presented, which is the 8.34 million, or whatever it is, the new number is 8.32 million. That'd be vote number 1. And then vote number 2 would be to authorize Mr. Spana to work with the CAFO to create up to 7 new accounts as part of this funding, as opposed to taking 7 different votes. Like, allow them to take create 7 different accounts.
I wasn't looking at 7 votes. I was looking at essentially maybe 1 or 2 votes. Okay, good. 1 vote would be approving whatever the math is. I'm going to roll a number. I haven't done the math yet. $6 million. I have no idea if that's true. 1 vote for $6 million, and we'll identify the different ones: parks, health, environment, $600. I will add to that $6 million. 1 vote for that. The rest will remain silent on. We will not approve those other 7 because we're going to need to create a special account, just like we created a special account for these. And then what you could do to speed things up, create the special account, and then have the funding for each one of these ready to go at the same time. That way it's faster.
But my question would be, why won't you vote tonight on it? Because you already received the explanation on each one of them, and they're still part of the amount of the ARPA funding.
The only thing that I'm not sure about is that we created a special account for, let's say, give me an example of one we have to take some money out of an account because we didn't create an account.
No, it's just to move, let's say, like the one that we had for personnel that had $10,000. It was budgeted for 260. We budget for 250, so there's only $10,000 that had to be moved, and I mentioned that could be moved to Health and Human Services.
So what I'm unsure about, in all transparency, is between 2 special accounts, can the administration do that unilaterally, or does the administration, like any special account, have to come before the council and say, we're going to move money from Parks and Recreation account to a fire department account? I'm just making stuff up now.
I mean,
Body voted. Sorry, when you voted to appropriate the $16 million worth of funds, and then to come back and review how it would be spent. So when you voted to approve the 16 million funds, that allows the CAFO to create those accounts. So he's creating up to 26 accounts. So really, the money's already allocated. you're approving the uses now, and now you want to just authorize the second, it would be the creation of possibly 7 more accounts within those special funds, but you don't vote on every single account that they create. Like sometimes you might accept a grant and he might have 3 or 4 small accounts to go with that one grant. So you don't usually vote to create each account. You usually vote on the fund allocation and then the fund usage, but you don't usually vote on the creation of account. We don't get into that minutia at this level.
Well, I do remember during the, I hate to age myself here, during the Rivera administration, they used to come down with these special accounts, and the CAFA would say we would have this just for school athletic equipment. And so there'd be a school athletic equipment, and that's all that would be spent on. You couldn't spend it on library books, and you couldn't spend it on asphalt. It was just on school athletic equipment, and that was that, nothing else, right? And so they created a special account. So I'm thinking these are created special accounts. These are they're broader because we have a broad document, but at least we have an idea. Health and Human Services is the broad idea. You're not buying library books with Health and Human Services. You're getting, I don't want to go into minutia, but there's elements of this, right? And so my question is if there was, let's say somebody wanted to move money from the school equipment account to a library books account, can they just do that unilaterally? And my thinking is that it needed some sort of council approval. Again, I'm going off of memory and not necessarily fact.
But that's not what we're requesting. I think, I don't know if am I making me clear? I'll repeat again, is that obviously we're expecting, our wish is that you approve the items that were presented to you before, and then with those that need to be grading, those 7 other items, under 7, right? Then you have a second vote, and those accounts will be created.
I want representatives to repeat that so I can understand it through a different voice.
So I think he's been repeating like 3 times. We're just gonna be approving the whole amount, except the 7 items that they are subtracting. They need to create a different account. Whenever they have all that information that we requesting, because it's a simple question like, and I'm gonna just throw one, police department. The question was, what type of training they're gonna be having. That's all they need to provide. Okay, what time the training? At least they don't have to come back and make the same statement explanation that they have done tonight. They're gonna have the money, this is the account, this is how they're gonna spend and use the money.
I get that. So if I'm a counselor from District D and I really, 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 really wanted the training to go toward
No, the police department.
call takers, or not to be rude, for example, I'm just throwing something out, no? Traffic, training, how to, whatever. So, and so the council really wants to see traffic training going on.
Right.
And all of a sudden, they're coming back with call taker training, which she may say that's fantastic, but that's not what I really want. I want traffic training. I mean, if, under this scenario, council's not necessarily going to know that. She may say, I don't like that. I really wanted to go there and have a chance to vote, yes or no, based on that. That's the thing that I'm trying to work through, is do we have that option? Because this exercise is for us to understand what is going, that's really into the weeds. Go ahead.
Councilor President, I know this is sound complicated. I know that you need to be clear in every single item. I know, but remember, Councilor Infante just asked a question. One other item that is kind of worrying me is the fire department. They need a truck. So there is really a need for us to hold an item that even the chief, the fire chief was present today in front of us. So I think we need to move on with this, because I know other cities, which I don't have to mention, that they've been losing money just because they had been entertaining and just to kind of let things sit over. So why we don't do what we have to do, approve the whole amount, they can create a different account, and they can, they can come back with whatever information we need. Whoever agrees, agree. If it's not, then we're gonna make another another decision, but we need to move on with this. Because this is gonna happen every single time they're gonna be sending item down, every single time. So what I encourage all of you is, ask all the question, meet with them. What I do is, on Friday, when I have more time, I go. I know that everybody works. Phone calls, if you have any question, so that way we can move, because otherwise, we're gonna be spending like a year in this.
So to the defense of the council, we just got this, I think it's 7 o'clock tonight, this thing, which is not, I know there's a lot of work been put into it, and it's not a criticism, but there's not a lot of time to digest. There's a lot of information here. So I don't want to go into the weeds too much. The representative has provided some sort of pathway to get to streamline this. Some counselors may think that's a great idea. Some counselors may think there's a happy medium between this and the weeds I was about to go into even more, but we took myself out hopefully quickly enough. But we just want to make sure that it makes sense to the taxpayers, they were able to look at it, that it does make sense, and that the information is brought to us and we have an opportunity to vote. I think that's the bottom line here. So however we get to that point is less important to me. So, so what I'm hearing is one thing. So we've got separate accounts, of which there are 7. My colleague is suggesting that we just vote for everything, all $8.3 million, et cetera, for all of that stuff, and that I don't know what's going to be coming back to us. In that scenario, Counselor, what do you expect to come back to us, if anything?
I didn't ask any questions, so the floor is open. So for that 7 items, which I feel that we don't need to delay, all they need to come back and say, okay, this is how we create a different account, this is going to be how the use is going to be. That's all, simple of that. I know that we need to have clarification on everything for the taxpayer, and we got that. But I don't think that this is so complicated, so we can vote for the whole amount, how we said. Then whatever, those 7 items, they just need to bring some more information, that's all. I think this is what we want to go.
It sounds pretty simple, but I am trying to figure out the mechanism by doing that. So if we vote for this tonight, is that going to require anybody to come back down to the council on anything, or is that it? 8.3 million, and now we're done. It's spending as you want to spend it, and there's no more eyes on this from the city council. Is that what's going on?
Know how they want it.
So I just want to make sure we're clear. I mean, as we're taking the vote, which is...
Council President?
Yep, Councilor Del Rosario.
Thank you. I mean, since the beginning of this, and I do apologize with you, since the beginning of this, I feel that you've been uncomfortable with this item and the amount of money. And again, nothing personal, but I see that you want to tighten it up, and every time it comes down, you want to tighten it up for another session or something else, to tighten it up so much that, like my colleague says, we wasting time on emergency items like the fire truck. And every time we have discussion on this money, we want to find a way to tighten it up, and we want to keep discussing it and discussing it and discussing it, because we want to micromanage what the administration need to manage. And we can't micromanage, to be honest with you. We can be as clear as we can with the taxpayer and try to have them, being transparent, but we cannot micromanage. And I feel this is what we're trying to do. Let's revise what is it that we're going to vote on it. Let's vote on it. If you're not comfortable, anybody's not comfortable, don't vote for it, and we go through it. And motion to pass 10 o'clock.
Okay.
So is there a motion? Not the 10 o'clock.
Motion to approve.
There's going to be a motion, then I'll look for discussion. I'm going to give her a chance to talk. I'm looking for a motion.
Second.
What's the motion? Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second. Discussion. Councilor Dela Cruz.
Okay. I understand what Council President is trying to say. We have 7 items that we need to pass tonight, but at the same time, we need the items with the explanation that needed to come back to the council for us to understand the whole process. Of course, that we wanted to help out all of these items and all of these money send it back to the community. But at the same time, we need to be in the safe part. We need to know how they're gonna use this money, where is this money specifically going, and just as simple as that. Then if we vote for the 7 items tonight, then they come back with the other items.
Councilor President, please.
Anybody else
this
before I go
is-
back? No, Councilor Vice President.
This is exactly what they are gonna do, Councilor De La Cruz. We are gonna be approving the whole amount, but those 7 items is gonna be creating a different account. They're not gonna spend the way they want. They have to come back with whatever information we're requesting. We have done it this before, pending any information that we might need to support the item.
That's the request.
Motion.
Request is that we need those documents to come back with explanation. It's gonna be approved tonight.
So before we get there, I'm going to look to Mr. Spanner. I just want to make sure that we all of us understand what the motion before us is. Clerk, do you have the motion?
I believe so. What I'm hearing Counselor Reyes say is that she's making a motion to approve the funding of the package in total, which is a full 8.32 million, and authorize the creation of 7 new accounts as outlined by the administration. And then there's some discussion about documents coming back, but that's made part of the motion, so
Exactly. And can I clarify this?
Yes.
We spent 3 hours in this item, and to my recollection, and City Clerk, please correct me if I'm wrong, the police department was one question from Councilor Infante that requested clarification. For training. What specifically the training was, police department. There's the comment that was made by Councilor Rodriguez that indicated that for him and his wish that the funding would be that would be used for sewer department and economic development, of which emphasis should be given to the water and sewer, which is very important, and not as a loan. Okay, but the rest of the other document, and correct me if I'm wrong, was no other questions in regards to that.
There was a city clerk's document for the book, for example, plus there was other clarification that councilors had for LCAT and the cable stuff. So there was some utility, and I realized that making the sausage sometimes can get ugly, and it's never pretty watching it getting made. But when you've got 9 people, this is what happens in the legislative process. And so, but we're getting there. We're getting there. The councilors are making some excellent points. They're very persuasive, right? And I think we're going to try to streamline this. But I think we got to let ourselves do what we got to do. Any more questions on the motion before us? I'm going to go to Councilor Rodriguez because I promised him before we do anything, I would go to look to him. Any other councilors here? Councilor Rodriguez, do you wish to add anything?
No.
So the only thing I'm unclear about is what the clerk just said. Is there any coming back or no coming back on this process? I think that was the one thing that was unclear. Is the administration coming back to us on the 7 items with more detail? Is that the only question that's before us, besides the motion?
Can I mean,
Please. Yeah. Oh, Councilor Infante.
Thank you. I would just like to have the information of the training. What are they specifically, what type of training the police department is going to use the money for?
just
Want the information, yeah.
As I understand it right now, the motion before us, $8,320,000 is going to be set up. There's going to be an additional setup of 7 new special accounts. And it's unclear to me if there's any further discussion on the 7 special accounts. So we're just going to go with that. Any further question on this matter? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Counselor Levy,
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz,
Yes.
Counselor Russell,
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez,
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes is noted as absent. Counselor Infante?
Yes.
Counsel Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Council President LaPlante.
Yes, motion passes. Thank you.
That's it.
Motion to pass 10 o'clock.
Motion made, is there a second?
Second.
Second, Counselor Levy, roll call vote?
Counselor Infante.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes, noted as
Yes.
absent. Counselor Del Rosario voted yes.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez. Counselor Russell.
Yes.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
Maria say yes.
Yes.
Council President LaPlante.
We're going to go back to the top of the agenda. Public hearings. Only two. This should go fairly quickly. Document 5823. Clerk, would you please read the public hearing notice?
Notice is hereby given that the Lawrence City Council will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, May 17th at 7 p.m. in a special meeting in the City Council Chambers, 200 Common Street, Lawrence, Mass. Pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023 and in accordance with recently revised City Council Rule 2. This meeting will be hybrid, allowing participation both in person and remotely to accommodate any participant with health considerations that prevent them from participating in person. To receive access codes for remote participation, please contact the city clerk at eileen.bernal@cityoflawrence.com or 978-620-3230. The meeting may be viewed on the Facebook and YouTube pages. The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed amendments to the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence to be further amended by adding the following new paragraph to Section 10.36.330 sub C of the Municipal Code, bus stops, taxi stands, ambulance stands, and service zones, to be inserted in the proper alphabetical order. Garden Street, south side, from the southeast corner of Jackson Street on Garden Street, traveling east to a point 32 feet and to a point 90 feet, from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. and 2:20 p.m. to 5:30 p.m., Monday through Friday, September through June. To the extent that there exist any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing is now open. Is there anyone that wishes to speak on this item? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Councilors?
Motion to approve and waive the 30 days.
Second.
Motion made by the Vice President, seconded by Councilor Infante. Discussion. Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
Councilor Dela Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Russell.
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes is noted as absent. Councilor Infante.
Yes.
Council Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Council President LaPlante.
Yes. Is it faster just to dispense it?
No, you know what?
Look, next public hearing document is document 5923, a loading zone school bus drop-off pickup at Garden Street, Northside Masonic Temple. Clerk, please read the public hearing notice.
Notice is hereby given that the Lawrence City Council will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, May 17th, 2023 at 7 p.m. at a special meeting in the City Council Chambers, 200 Common Street, Lawrence, Mass. Pursuant to the Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023 and in accordance with recently revised City Council Rule Number 2, this meeting will be hybrid, allowing participation both in person and remotely to accommodate any participant with health considerations that prevent them from participating in person. To receive access codes for remote participation, please contact the city clerk at eileen.bernal@cityoflawrence.com or 978-620-3230. The meeting may be viewed on Facebook and YouTube. The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed amendment to the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence to be further amended by the following new paragraph, section 10.36.330C of the municipal code, bus stop, taxi stands, ambulance stands, and service zones to be inserted in the proper alphabetical order. Garden Street, north side, from the northeast corner of Jackson Street on Garden, traveling east to a point 20 feet to a point 93 feet from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. and 2:20 p.m. to 5:30 p.m., Monday through Friday, September through June. To the extent there exist any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Councilors.
Motion to approve and waive the 30 days.
Second.
Motion made by the representative, seconded by Councilor Infante. Discussion. Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Infante.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes is noted as absent. Councilor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Councilor Russell.
Yes.
Councilor Dela Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
Council Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Council President LaPlante.
Yes, motion carries. Next is communications from the mayor, city officials, and city attorney. Councilors, I believe we all received a copy of the FY 2024 budget. I think they're in our mailboxes. Yeah, so please pick that up before you leave tonight. I don't have my agenda, but I'm going to go through memory. Ordinance Committee, document number 10622, Madam Chair.
Document 10622 is the Bowen Street one-way tenant parking only, has been sent out with favorable recommendation for withdrawal.
So move.
Motion made and seconded by Councilor Levy. Discussion? Councilor Rodriguez.
Mr. President, before we actually went to that item, I actually tried to react and speak, and you couldn't hear me. But the comment that I have is on the budget, on the communication item from the mayors.
Let's do this. Let's have a vote on this, and because of the communication issue, we can certainly revisit and take your comments. Any discussion on this matter before I go back to Councilor Rodriguez on his budget? Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy.
Yeah.
Councilor Dela Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Russell.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes is noted as absent. Councilor Infante.
Yes.
Council Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Council President LaPlante.
Yes, motion carries. Document 15123, communications, the FY 2024 budget. Mr. Chairman, Councilor Rodriguez, you have the floor.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak on this matter. I actually, the councilors, I sent an email to all of you a few minutes ago in correlation to the proposed date for the meeting for the review of the fiscal year 2024. Council President, for the record, I would like to say during the communication in case that I get disconnected, so we can have that on record. So the first day that we're going to be meeting for the review of the fiscal year 2024 is on Tuesday, May 30 at 6:30 p.m. And on the email, you will find all the documents, all the departments that are going to be presenting on that day. But fairly quick, the City Council, the Mayor's Office, the Administration and Finance, including the Office of the Budget and Finance, our Controller Office, Purchase and Technology, Assessor's Office, Treasurer Office, Tax Collector, and Office of Personnel going to be reviewed. That section of the budget going to be reviewed on May 30. Other financial uses, and Wednesday, May 31st, which is going to be the second day. There is a list of all the departments that are going to be there, but some of them are the airport, the city clerk, the city attorney, the community development, the economic development, Lawrence Fire, and the Greater Solid Technical School will be reviewed on May 31st at 6:30 p.m. Tuesday, June 1st, There's going to be a group of other departments, including but not limited to Department of Public Work, Enterprise Funds, Inspection of Services, Human Rights Commissions, Veteran Services, Recreation Departments, Council and agents, Public Library are going to be reviewed on June 1st, June the 5th, which is Monday at 6:30 p.m. will be at Lawrence Public Schools. Wednesday, June 7th at 6:30 p.m. We're setting up this date in case that we actually need it, as well as June 8th. We're setting those two dates in case we need to. There is some issues with some departments that couldn't present, and those budgets cannot be reviewed. So we're setting up two dates, June 7th and June 8th, in case we need it. I sent an email with all this information in case the councilors wanted to be present. We always going to acknowledge the councilors that visit the budget sections, and if they have any questions in regard to this, please feel free to come over and take the stand and discuss with us the possibility of any potential change or anything that you guys believe is important. I just sent this email to the clerk, to Teresa, and to the rest of the city councilors. Therefore, Council President, those are the presented proposed dates for the review of the fiscal year 2024. If there is any questions in regard to the dates, please feel free to reach out to me, and I have no issues making any possible changes in case we need to. With that said, Council President, thank you for acknowledging me, and those are the proposed dates for the review of the fiscal for the budget of fiscal year 2024.
Great, thanks. One of the things we probably need to also figure out is I'm going to presume we're going to have a special meeting just to deal with the budget and not cram it into a normal meeting. So have you given any thoughts to a special meeting date?
To the end of the budget discussion, to have a good idea of when we're going to be finishing. But yes, we're definitely going to have a special meeting just for the budget, like we have done in previous years.
Typically, if you're wrapping up by, you said the 8th was the potential last day of the budget. Is that the last day? Is that true?
Yes, that's what we're expecting.
So what we might want to, just for planning purposes, I think just for courtesy to the council so they can make plans, and then we also need to have the ability to, there's always the posting requirement, putting in the newspaper, and it has to be done within X number of days. But we need at some point to figure out, I'm not overly concerned, but our next meeting is June the 6th, and I just want to make sure that we're able to go ahead and order the public hearing. I think if I had my ordinance book here, it would say, between something, there's a window of time by which we order a public hearing, you want to speak, clerk?
On almost all of our hearings, it's no less than 7, no more than 14 days of notice, so I'm going to presume that the budget would also be in that same.
Why don't we do this? We're going to go through the rest of this meeting. Let me look up that ordinance or that time, and then I'll report back to you all what that is. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for putting that together. We're just going to move on, and then at some point I'll give some other dates. Madam Chair, on the
121-23, it has been sent out with the favor recommendation to withdraw.
There's a motion. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, I'll ask the clerk to. Then this is deal with 121-23. I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Councilor Infante.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes is noted as absent. Counselor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez? No,
Yes.
thank you. Counselor Russell?
Yes.
Counselor Dela Cruz?
Yes.
Counselor Levy? Council Vice President Reyes?
Yes.
Council President LaPlante?
Yes. The motion carries to withdraw. Madam Vice Chair?
12323, Hotker Imperial License, Tenare Frio Frio. It has been sent out with the favorable recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
Counselor Levy, discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Counselor Levy?
Yes.
Counselor Dela Cruz?
Yes.
Counselor Russell?
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes is noted as absent. Counselor Infante?
Yes.
Counselor Vice President Reyes?
Yes.
Council President LaPlante?
Yes, the motion carries. Next document is document number 13523, no parking.
No parking street section of Hampshire Street, both sides. It has been sent out with the favorable recommendation to order a public hearing pending that engineer and the officer cannot report. And I make that as a formal motion. Order public hearing.
This is number 13523?
135 was an error. Yeah?
Yeah, this is the one that says
That was an
withdraw, but
error.
it's order.
No.
Yes, so there's an error inside the agenda.
Oh.
Yeah.
If you look at, hopefully, the background information will show that it is to order a public hearing. So there's a motion to order a public hearing. It's been properly seconded by who?
Yeah.
By Counselor Levy. Discussion? Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Levy?
Yes.
Counselor Dela Cruz?
Yes.
Counselor Russell?
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez? Counselor Selena Reyes is noted as absent. Counselor Infante?
Yes.
I'm sorry,
Yes.
I got you, sorry, I'm so sorry. Counselor Del Rosario, Counselor Selena Reyes is noted as absent. Counselor Infante, Council Vice President,
Yes.
Council President.
Yes, the motion carries. Next document is 13623.
Proposed ordinance regulating trespassing towing from private property. Send out with the favor recommendation to order a public hearing pending the final draft from the city attorney, and I make that as a formal motion to
Motion
make.
made.
Second.
Seconded by Counselor Infante. Discussion? Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Infante.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes is noted as absent. Counselor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Counselor Russell?
Yes.
Counselor Dela Cruz?
Yes.
Counselor Levy?
Yes.
Council Vice President Reyes?
Yes.
Council President LaPlante?
Yes, motion carries. The next document is document number 13723. Madam Vice Chair.
Proposed ordinance prohibiting obstruction of sidewalk. It has been sent out with the favor recommendation to order a public hearing pending the final draft from the city attorney, and I make that as a formal motion.
Motion made. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Counselor Levy. Discussion. Seeing none, I'll call the, clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Levy?
Yes.
Counselor Dela Cruz?
Yes.
Counselor Russell?
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes is noted as absent. Counselor Infante?
Yes.
Council Vice President Reyes?
Yes.
Council President LaPlante?
Yes, the motion carries.
142.
Next document is number 142.
Yeah, music festival with food truck and 70 General Street, May 20, has been sent out with the favor recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
Motion made. Is there a second? Seconded by Counselor Del Rosario. Discussion. Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Levy?
Yes.
Counselor Dela Cruz?
Yes.
Counselor Russell?
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez? Counselor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes is noted as absent. Counselor Infante?
Yes.
Counselor Estela Reyes?
Yes.
Council President LaPlante?
Yes, the motion carries.
14423, monument honoring Denise Murray in Browell Park, and has been sent out with a favorable recommendation, and I make that as a formal move.
Motion made, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Counselor Russell. Discussion. I see that Ms. Fickenworth is here today. Did you want to speak on this matter?
Just for a minute. So as you know, I was here for the ordinance. Me and Raquel decided to do it at the Rowell because we already have a stone there for the victims, and that was actually the last place that Denise physically was on December, I think it was the 18th, when Dan Rivera was mayor, and they presented us with the stone. So we were supposed to put it at the, or Raquel was trying to get it at the garden on Lowell and Margin Street, but there wasn't enough room to put it, so that's why we're asking if they could put it. It's already paid for, and we're just waiting for your approval so that we could have it put in. You guys all know Denise, I think all of you knew her. She was born and raised here, and unfortunately she passed away. She was a force to be reckoned with. I asked some people what they thought about Denise, and this person doesn't really know her, but she's like a humanitarian. She helped everybody. The people that she worked with at Mass Hire, I can't even speak words. When they had the memorial for her a couple months ago, the stories were remarkable. Nothing but nice things to say about her. So we're asking if you could please let us put the stone there, somewhere near the other stone that's already present. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak on this matter? I just have a question. And, during the ordinance committee, we just said, was there anything that you could provide that in the draft form, a written document that we can have for the record for posterity and for future people who might be interested in knowing
Right,
more
Raquel
about it?
said that she'll do that. She just couldn't be here tonight because she has a young child, has school in the morning. So that's why she wasn't here tonight.
Anybody else? Okay. Hearing none, I believe there's a motion. I believe it's improperly seconded. Without any further questions, I'll ask.
Counselor Infante?
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes is noted as absent. Counselor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez? Counselor Russell?
Yes.
Counselor Dela Cruz?
Yes.
Counselor Levy?
Yes.
Counselor Vice President Reyes? Yes. Council President LaPlante?
Yes. Please get that information for that on honor. That'd be really appreciated. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Council President, still, Council Vice President, still we haven't missed 140 and 141.
We took those early. We took them early. They were here, so we took them early.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Thank you for.
Council President, I would like to get item out of table and out of order. Is the item 11018?
Say the first number again.
110.
118, 118.
Yes.
Haverhill Street, one-way between Prospect and Haverhill Street. There's a motion to take that off the table matters. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vice President Reyes. Discussion? Seeing none. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Levy?
Yes.
Counselor Dela Cruz?
Yes.
Counselor Russell?
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes is noted as absent. Counselor Infante?
Yes.
Council Vice President Reyes?
Yes.
Council President LaPlante?
Yes. Motion carries. Counselor?
Thank you. So the The request is for Haverhill Street, between Prospect Street and Fulton Street. It's a mistake in here. Is to make it that little piece of the Haverhill Street one way. I would like to send this, so this was sent for a public hearing, and we don't have anything what happened, because I don't think so that it was never, okay.
It is ambulance.
It is on the tabled items on our agenda. It's been on the tabled items on our agenda. And the document actually, there was a lot of progress. What happened was you did order a public hearing, and ironically, there's no typo in the public hearing notice. It's exactly what you wanted it to say, Haverhill Street from Prospect Street to Fulton Street in a westerly direction. So
Yes, just only one-way direction getting from Prospect to Fulton
Yeah.
Street.
So that was actually published in the newspaper on May 15th, 2018, published correctly. This body had a public hearing. The public hearing is actually still open, and it was tabled while the public hearing was open on August 21st, 2018. So everything is in order. I mean, as everything's happened, I'm not sure why it was tabled, but.
Just to send it.
So what we should do in this case? We can vote on this?
Council Vice President.
Sorry. Can we vote on this? Because we don't have to go to public hearing
You
already.
you absolutely can vote. I thought there was a discussion with the DPW director earlier today that he's asked if we could vote on this at our next meeting, so that he could just have a quick chance to review it between now and the next meeting, but I thought that was but you're in a position to vote. The public hearing's been ordered, the publication's been in the newspaper, like, everything is ready to go. I think you were just waiting for his final sign-off, is that?
Yes, I spoke with the director of the public work. He told me that he doing some story right now around that area, and I would like to pass by and see that situation. I would like, to get information from him.
Okay.
So I can table the item again, send the information, and get the item back at the next meeting.
Motion
So
to
I
table.
hope that he will send it, the information for the next meeting.
Before I recognize the motion to table, there's just one thing I want everybody to consider, and this deals with this item and every other older item. This has been introduced several councils ago, more than one, more than two, probably three councils ago. There's an old law expression called things that go stale, meaning things have been around for a while, and then things can change. On that street, we don't, and this is just an example, I'm not picking on this one. People could have moved since the public hearing was addressed that impacted that street. We don't know, right? But we have a lot of these things, and at some point, I'd like to maybe, I'm just letting you know that I might be changing or asking to change a rule that will bring a certain freshness, that if something stays there too long, things do become stale, we need to reintroduce it because for reasons that we can all understand. So I just throw that out there. I'm not saying we shouldn't do it or whatever, but just be cognizant of the fact that this is an older item and things may have changed over time, but maybe not. Is there a motion to table at this point? Is that what somebody wants to make?
Yeah, motion to table.
Motion made. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes.
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 Is Council Rodriguez left?
Councilor Rodriguez has left, so we don't need. I see Councilor Infante's hand.
Hi, thank you. I would like to untable item 2322, establish the ad hoc committee for translation.
Motion has been made to take 2322 off the table matters. Is there a second? Second. Seconded by Council Vice President. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Councilor Infante?
Thank you. Councilors, you have a packet that our clerk put together comparing prices for both, for three vendors. One did not answer, but essentially, two of them excel at logistics. And, it's been a long night. Turns out to be 690 with additional cost of, including an additional cost for equipment rental. And Dominique's SP interpreters, also 690 flat. This does not, does not include a rental fee, but if we were to damage any of their equipment, that would be a fee later on. Given that they're both the same price, I do want to ask, because I saw Council President using the third option, Dominique's interpreters services during the Lawrence Partnership City event. If you can speak really quickly about your experience of that translation service.
Thank you. So I having never experienced it before, I had nothing to compare it to, which is, that's just, it's this first impression. It worked. I was able to understand. The challenge I had that evening was, it was at the library and the mayor was speaking on the microphone, very close, speaking in Spanish, and there was translation in English in my ear, but it was so loud that it was hard for me to actually hear. It was just one, and I had to push it against my ear, and I was able to make it out. Now, I would presume in this environment, it won't be as loud as it was in the library, so I suspect that there'll be more success with it. So that's my observation.
Thank you. So at this point, I mean, we have I believe that was the only thing we were waiting for is prices. I think, I don't know if the council wants to move on and offer a service for one of them. I recommend to move forward and offer the service to option 3, Dominguez interpreters. And I make that, I don't know if I have to make that as a formal motion.
Second.
That's fine. So there's a motion, or does anybody have any questions? Is this a home run for everybody? If it is, we'll just go there. If anybody has any questions, if somebody is unsure, we could always look at 2 of them and compare, but if it's a home run, it's a home run. Councilor Russell.
Question, where was the funding for this project?
City council budget. Anyone else? Councilor Del Rosario.
I just had a comment. I was, this morning, actually giving an interview to a radio station or program show this morning, and I actually, to answer the question the command from the community was why they don't have translation services or interpretation services, which has been offered for years and it never happened. So I kind of announced that was coming, and I put it as in the future. So it's pretty cool to go back Wednesday, which I'm going to go back and have them know that they can actually come and be part of the meetings, because a lot of people in the community, they're not bilingual yet. So it will be great to have them participate from now on with this bilingual service that it has been offered for years and never done. So I'm glad this is happening.
Good. Actually, about this. Maybe we'll just take a vote. So there's a motion to send to Dominguez. More questions. I'm going to go with Councilor Dela Cruz first, and then Councilor Russell.
Council President, we usually don't have enough money to buy pens and pencils. Where are we getting that money from?
We have plenty of money for pens and pencils. If we have a shortage of pens and pencils, we don't think we do have, we're fine.
The translation is the
We have put money aside in the budget for this purpose. We've been moving it for others. Anyway, it's been there. And finally, we're looking forward to spending it. We didn't know how much we were going to have, but now with these hard numbers, we have a better idea.
You
Yes,
will
ma'am.
need somebody to be in charge of providing the supply to the people. Otherwise, they get lost, because the school department used to have it. Do you have that person for that?
I don't know if I understand the question, Councilor
So
Bonnie,
I-
you wanna help?
Counselor, thank you. Counselor De La Cruz, are you asking if, like, the supply, like, the equipment, the headphones, yes.
Because people take them with them because they forget.
Yep.
Sometimes.
Yep, so
And-
I think what happened, so last time I saw, the way that at the Lawrence Partnership event, there was 2 people, so the person actually, doing the translation, but, I'm assuming, and, you know, we could go back, but because there would be 2 people in here, right, when people are leaving, one of them could be standing near the door, one of them here, just to make sure that people don't take their equipment.
They're easy to get lost.
We can double check them.
Councilor Russell?
The question I have is this gonna cover just the full council meetings, or is this also gonna involve the various committee meetings?
Correct, so just the full council, and this was mentioned in prior meetings as well, for now, for the full council.
Okay, and then what we could do, I mean, it gets kind of pricey, we can front load, like we front load meetings with people, and that, this is happening naturally anyway, so if there's somebody here who wishes to speak, we're gonna deal, hopefully in the first couple of hours, with people who would need some translation services or interpretive services to help. So we can manage that, so we can be within 2 hours most of the time, I would think.
I have a question.
Councilor Levy?
The amount they are charging is per meeting? The amount charged is per meeting?
Yes, so if you look at the last page, the chart, the last column, anticipated cost for 3 hours, city council, so we budgeted, the clerk, thank you, budgeted for a meeting from 7 to 10. So yes, that is for a full
It's
council
just one
meeting.
meeting.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on this? So there's something here for Dominguez SP interpreters. We can go ahead and engage in maybe a contract. I'm looking for some help here on this. There's procurement situations, so nothing more than $10,000. Is that what we're doing, or help, clerk, if you know?
You can enter into a contract for up to $50,000, up to $10,000. You can service with them with a memorandum of understanding or a simple agreement. Once you hit that $10,000 threshold, you need to have a contract that goes through the mayor's office. So if you want to do something more short-term with them to get to the first 10,000, just to make sure that you like them, it's up to you guys how you want to structure it.
Yep, the first, more short-term, just to see how, it's the first time we're doing this, so to see how it goes. So short-term contract until we reach the 10,000.
Okay, there you go. So we'll have to keep an eye. Teresa, I'll need some help on this. We got to keep an eye on the money going out, so as we approach the 10,000, we can go ahead and we'll poll the members, and we'll figure out by then if we like them or not. And then,
You probably have about 6 months before you get to that $10,000. So you want to do like a 6-month contract with them?
or 6-month MOU
MOU.
for 6 months. Okay. So if there's no objection, what I'm hearing here is a 6-month MOU with Dominguez SP interpreters. Gives them a good chance for us to figure out if we like them. And if we do, we can engage in a contract. So I think it's gonna be great. I'm gonna make a comment at the end, because I was really looking forward to this vote tonight. Anybody else have anything on this matter? I see that Councilor Rodriguez is back with us. Councilor Rodriguez, did you have anything to add on this?
No.
Very good. Clerk, I'll ask you to please call the roll.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor Dela?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Yes.
Councilor Infante?
Yes.
Council Vice President Reyes?
Yes.
Council President LaPlante?
Yes, thank you so much. Councilors, I want to thank my colleagues who were part of the ad hoc committee who joined me, Councilor Stephanie Infante, Councilor Selena Reyes, both very incredibly helpful in pushing this and making this thing happen. I just want to make one quick comment. The night is late, but this means an awful lot. When I was first on the council back 25 years ago, I actually pushed for this big Boston Globe article saying that we need to get translation services in this chamber, and it never really happened for a variety of reasons. As far as I'm concerned, this is a huge win. This gets people a fundamental understanding of what's happening with our government. This brings people more involved in our government, and it breaks down walls, it breaks down barriers. And so I'm pretty jazzed that we took this vote tonight, and because I think it's going to be really helpful in civic engagement. So thank you, councilors, and I look forward to seeing this implemented. Anything else on table matters? Seeing none, we'll move on. We'll move on to new business. 15023, appointment of Ramon L. How do you pronounce it? Quezada? To the Lawrence Redevelopment Authority. That's going to the Personnel Committee. Disposition of real, 15223, disposition of real property, 262 East Haverhill Street, Unit 12 is going to the Housing Committee. Document 15323, authority to expend grant funds, $50,000 to an earmark grant is going to the Budget and Finance. 15423, authorization of grant, to expend grant funds, $175,000 to earmark grants. That is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. 15523, a payment of prior year invoices, $39,000, contract 6832 with LFDEF is going to Budget and Finance. 15623, a payment prior year invoice, $123,000, contract of document number 6491 with LFDEF is going to Budget and Finance. 15723, no parking area on Wilmont Street, going to Ordinance. 15823, Latino Music Festival, Campanion Common, 12 to 8. There's nobody here. It's going to go to the Ordinance Committee. 15923, More Than Conquerors, Campanion Common, 3 to 8 p.m. on June 10th. That is going to the Ordinance Committee. 16023, Serlins Baby Shower, Manchester Street Park, 2 to 7 p.m. June 10th, 2023 is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 16123, Yoga in the Park, Campanion Common, Saturdays, noon to 1, June 10th through the 30th of September, Ordinance Committee. 16223, Summer Resource Fair, Campanion Common, 11 to 3 on June 24th, going to the Ordinance Committee. 16323, Rock the Block, Lawrence Veterans Memorial Stadium, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. July 15th, 2023 is going to the Ordinance Committee. 16423, Dia de Clamor a Dios, Campanion Common, 9 to 5, September 2nd is going to the Ordinance Committee. 16523, 20-minute parking, 262 Hampshire Street at Pilon Market, 7 days a week, 9 to 7 p.m., put on by Vice President Estela Reyes and Luis Frias. That is going to the Ordinance Committee. 16623, one-way, is it pronounced Boehm Street, is that right? Boehm? Put on by Councilor Selena Reyes, Ordinance Committee. 16723, Boyd Street, no parking from dead end to telephone pole, even side. Councilor Stephanie Infante is going to the Ordinance Committee. 16823, handicap parking, 68 Dorchester Street, Apartment 2, Ordinance Committee. 16923, handicap parking, 54 Essex Street, Ordinance Committee. 17023, handicap parking, 84 Bennington Street, Ordinance Committee. 17123, handicap parking, 27 Newton Street, Ordinance Committee. 17223, handicap parking, 25 Basswood Street, Ordinance Committee. 17323, transfer from retained earnings, $275,000 for next fiscal year. That is going to the Ordinance Committee. Did you want to talk about the Budget and Finance? It's going to the Budget and Finance. What did I say going to? Ordinance. I'm so sorry. I'm getting weary. 17323, that is going to the Budget and Finance Committee, not the Ordinance Committee. Thank you, Clerk. Did you get a handle on that public hearing for the budget, which is, we're not in that spot, and that's my issue.
We need to order the public hearing within 14 days.
Between 7 and 14.
So,
Not tonight, because we got it when?
yeah, we just need to order it. That doesn't mean the hearing has to happen.
That's right, we have to order, but we can't order it tonight.
Okay.
That's my interpretation of that.
Yeah.
Counselors? Counselors, Counselor Rodriguez, this is I know. Councilor Rodriguez, I do want to talk about the public hearing for the budget and finance, and we might need to order a special meeting. Councilor Rodriguez, I see that your hand is up.
Usually, Council President, we order the public hearing the day that the budget is presented for a future date. We have done that at least for the last 3 years that I remember. So, like perhaps tonight, we order the public hearing for the budget for X amount of days in the future, perhaps the 14th, the 21st, or whatever. We have done that before.
Whether the mayor was here. So, Counselor Rodriguez, whether the mayor was here tonight or not, technically his budget was presented. He submitted it to us, it's been received, and it was on our agenda. So we have 14 days to order that public hearing from the 12th of May when we received it. So we have to order it by the 26th. So since we don't have another meeting between now and the 26th, if we could order it tonight.
I don't think we can order tonight. What we did last year, and this is the challenge that we face, is that I had a special meeting just to order the public hearing to comport. I don't think you were here. We had to do that last year. I had Damaris go ahead and do it. We had to go ahead and fulfill the requirements inside the charter. So we had a special meeting just to order the public hearing between the 7th and the 14th, as directed to us by 7.2 action on the budget. So, councilors, we're not going to be able to order a public hearing this evening on this because we're not. When did we get the budget?
May 12th.
What's today's date?
17th.
So we need 7 days to go between 7 and 14. So the earliest we could have a meeting to order a public hearing is on the 19th. We got it on the 12th, right?
Yeah.
So between the 19th and
19 of June or 19
of May.
of May.
I'll read it, just in case anybody's confused. Public hearing. The council shall, within 7 days following the date of the proposed budget has been filed with the clerk of the council, be caused to publish in a local newspaper. Hold on.
7A.
I see that.
Just above it.
The city council shall, within 7 days following the date of the proposed budget has been filed with the clerk of the council, caused to be published in a local newspaper, the general summary of the proposed budget as submitted by the mayor, and a notice stating when the date, not less than 7, no more than 14 days following such publication.
So.
Go ahead.
For the publication, I think you can order your public hearing today.
Okay.
The date it gets published, it has to be 7 to 14 days.
Within 7 days.
So
Okay,
if you-
I'm with you.
If
clerk.
you
I'm
ordered a
with you.
public hearing like the week of the 12th, you would have to just make sure it gets published the week of the 5th to line up with it.
So we can order the public hearing this evening, which is what the Councilor Rodriguez is suggesting.
Yeah.
We can, and you're suggesting, we can do that this evening, and then when does the public hearing have to be? Between 7 and 14 days after the public hearing has been posted, correct?
Just from the day it's published in the newspaper. Yeah, so if you publish it in the newspaper on the 5th and had it on the 12th, or you publish it in the newspaper on the 5th and had it on the 13th, the 14th, is in that 7 to 14 day window, then you're okay. The 5th is the day that they run the newspapers on Mondays. There's no printed paper on, be wary of that. But usually we've been running our ads on Mondays, so we,
Can we go ahead and we're gonna look to Councilor Rodriguez in a second here to help us with this, but can we can go ahead and order it tonight. Can we keep it open-ended, or do we have to actually say when we can just,
because I have to put it in the newspaper.
yeah,
That's why you should pick a date if you can.
pick a date for us to have the public hearing? All right, Councilor Rodriguez, I'm gonna turn to you. What do you got?
Yes, Council President.
Yes, sir.
The last meeting that we're gonna have is gonna be the 7th and the 8th. That's what we propose. So we can, for the following week, we can have the meeting for the budget, or the right after, on the week of the 19th, 22, the 23rd. That's usually when we have the discussion for the budget that during that week. So we're gonna have 2 weeks of discussing between the 19th and the 30th at the full council level if we need to. Usually, we just need one day to have that discussion. So we can definitely have the special meeting for the budget, let's say on Wednesday, the 21st, which is going to be in a special meeting. Or we can have it on Monday, the 26th. That's also another suggested date.
So council, Mr. Chairman, if you're, what day did you say that you thought would be good? Did you say the 8th or the week of the 12th?
The last 2 weeks of June, anywhere between the 19th to the 30th. That's usually where we have the discussion for the budget, during the last 2 weeks of the month. And that falls between the 19th and the 30th. What I'm suggesting is we're gonna have a regular meeting on the 6th of June and on the 20th of June. So we can have the budget meeting on the 21st or the 22nd, or we can have the following Monday, which is the 26th. I just don't want to have it right after we finish the discussion, because councilor might not have the time to actually go through. So we have 1 week in between to go through the budget, and then we can have the discussion of the budget anywhere on the 3rd or the 4th week of the month, which falls anywhere between the 19th of June to the 30th of June. So I'm suggesting to have a special meeting for the budget only on the 21st, which is Wednesday.
Councilors, we're looking at the 21st for the budget, and from that, we can vote this evening to order a public hearing. The clerk will then probably try to get it in the newspaper on the 12th to comport with the laws and the charter. That would be in the sweet spot, I believe. Yes, it would. And then if anybody has any, whatever, we have a little bit of time should things go sideways on the 21st. So at this point, Councilor Rodriguez, Mr. Chairman, do you wish to order a public hearing? Wish to order a public hearing on the 21st?
Propose a special meeting for the 21st as well, if 3 councilors agree.
So there you go. So the chairman is ordering, and we'll order a special meeting, of course, but we'll have a meeting on the 21st just for the budget. Is there order a public hearing? Is there a second? Second. Seconded by the Vice President Reyes. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Infante.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes is noted as absent. Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez. Thank you. Counselor Russell. Counselor Russell.
Yes.
Counselor Dela Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
Council Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Council President LaPlante.
Yes. Budget and Finance, when are you meeting, Councilor Rodriguez?
Committee meetings now?
Yes, we are, Councilor Rodriguez. So go right from budget, and then go right to housing. Go ahead.
We will have housing Monday the 22nd at 6:30, following by budget and finance at 7 on Monday the 22nd.
6:30 and 7. Housing, Budget and Finance, Monday. Got it. Ordinance. Tuesday the 23rd. Personnel, I think we have one item. 6:30 for personnel, 7 o'clock for ordinance. Very good. Any other business before the council this evening? I want to just make a brief comment. Great for those who went yesterday to Washington. It's great. And we hope that we can share with our members who weren't there some of the information that we received so all of us can benefit from it. With that, is there a motion to adjourn? Motion made by Councilor Infante, seconded by Councilor Levy. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
Counselor Reyes noted as absent. Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Counselor Russell.
Yes.
Council Dela Cruz,
Yes.
Council Levy,
Yes.
Council Vice President Reyes, Council President LaPlante.
Yes, we're adjourned. Thanks, everyone.